What is up, fellow sickos? I am Dan Valley coming at you once more with the one, the only, my certified fantabulous co-host, Mr. Grant Hughes. We have Giannis fever because Giannis keeps infecting everybody with it. We're going to talk about his latest trade demand, but we have a bigger question we want to get to, which is, could the outcome of the Giannis trade sweepstakes change the way we look at superstar trades forever? Is that already shifting? We will, of course, get into all the stuff everybody loves, potential teams, destinations. This will be time-stamped if you want to jump around. But we have one even more important question that we have to ask. Grant, how the heck are you doing?
I already feel changed by the Giannis sweepstakes and the shifting market forces. Don't you feel different? I feel different.
Honestly,
we're embarking on a new phase.
Watching Pat Spencer lead and almost come back against the Sixers was a spiritual experience, and I'm forever changed from having just seen that. So, yes.
Did you see the slow-mo? The Sixers broadcast kept showing it. He hit a big three, and he's like just screaming top of his lungs at the crowd. Did you see this?
Yes, yes.
I'm motherfucking him.
Yep.
So, that's been like
that. Well,
if that doesn't like, if you weren't entertained by that, I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know what you're watching.
It's just the nerve of him to say that I'm motherfucking him when you also
twice
on the floor at the same time have Guy Santos, Quentin Post, and Will Richard. The nerve of this dude.
You believe in yourself, man. Just like, it's a superpower. Self-belief. We could all learn a little something from Pat Spencer. God, that was great. I checked out of that game, and then there were a few texts that came in from a text thread about the Warriors of like, it got competitive. It's like, oh, all right, I guess I'll check back in.
I almost did not watch the fourth quarter. I actually told our Discord, hey, go join our Discord, because I'll say things like, I'm not going to watch the fourth quarter of Warriors Sixers, and then I'll leave it on anyway. And boy, was I glad that I did.
Yeah, it got exciting insofar as a game between, I don't want to lump the Sixers in there, but two teams that are not the best the NBA has to offer at the moment.
Dominic Barlow slander
exciting.
just left and right here. It was kind of cool. VJ Edgecombe getting the putback game winner, and then Tyrese Maxey with maybe the game-saving block at the other end.
That was a great job by the broadcast crew there, because they highlighted like how far he came from. Because Maxey took the shot that was airballed that Edgecombe tipped in for the go ahead, and he's like dead in the corner, and Maxey just outruns everybody for the chase. Yep. And I was like, just phenomenal, really great. We're not here to talk about Bucks or Sixers.
We're going to do a breakdown of the very injury decimated Warriors Sixers game from the other night. No, we are here to talk about the latest Giannis Antetokounmpo news, and the latest. Let me try to nutshell this, and let's see if I get anything. Giannis is reevaluating his future again with the Bucks. His agent, Alex Aradas, is involved. This is where we were over the summer. Jake Fisher did report, not showing any bias here, that Giannis thought a deal to the Knicks was done. Fait accompli, in my opinion. Obviously, it's going to happen. We're just sort of here again, and I don't know. I understand why we're here. The reporting says that Giannis was sold on this idea of contention for this year. I had assumed him coming back was the Bucks are trying to be decent, but he's also kind of on board with a gap year, and they're going to wait to recalibrate over next summer. Him reaching this point, 1/4 of the way through the season, suggests to me that was actually not the plan. I just have so many questions. Most of them are centered around, though, the timing of it. What do you sort of make of all this when you juxtapose it against, weren't we just here a few months ago over the off? Like, how are you this? I understand evaluating your future year by year, but now we're reaching week by week with Giannis, it feels like almost.
Yeah, so I'm glad we're having this conversation today, because we were thinking about having it yesterday, and I feel like I would have had a different take on it without the benefit of like another day to kind of mull it over. And I was actually going to ask you, just as like a discussion prompt almost, do you think Giannis is being selfish, right? Because like there's a way to frame it that way, where because of what you said, like this is all very familiar. This was kind of where we were over the summer, and him deciding for whatever reason, maybe the Knicks trade wasn't enough, and that was the only place he wanted to go. And so he's like, okay, turns out I'm in. Putting the Bucks in a position now where it's just harder than it would have otherwise been to get. There are fewer suitors, more teams are up against caps and aprons. Like, it's just harder now for the Bucks to trade him than it would have been over the summer. So is that selfish, right? Because there's a world where like he says, hey guys, it's best for both of us. Obviously, if we just get this done, let's make it happen. And you could argue that should have happened 2 years ago. I'm curious what your answer would have been to that question, but that's not really the way I'm coming at it now.
Well,
because I think the way I don't want to. Do you feel like there's two questions? Maybe you can just answer, and then I'll say what I want to say after. Do you think it's a selfish thing? And then two, do you think like the time to actually have handled all this is not just this past summer, but like a couple years ago?
I almost have to want to answer your second question first, which is this feels very similar to the Damian Lillard situation in Portland, where neither side wants to be the one to end this relationship, and they're kind of trying to force the other to do it. And this is the closest we've come. This is Giannis Antetokounmpo's soft launch trade demand. That's how I read this. Now, maybe the calf injury changes things. The selfish point, you could look at it from the vantage point of he's doing this in the middle of the season after they waived and stretched Damian Lillard and went out and signed Miles Turner. This is just, you should have given them the full season. I understand taking that stance. I'm going to counter it by saying he might be doing them a favor by saying it now. And this could actually be more of a, not selfless, but I'm trying to look out for everybody involved here. The Bucks still have the opportunity to be bad and get a really good draft pick right now, because as of right now, they're not, let's say they're not trading him to the Hawks, they trade him somewhere else. They're going to get the worst of New Orleans's or their own pick. If you don't have Giannis, and when the Bucks have not had Giannis this year, that to this point they have not been good, they're still going to, like, the worst of a Pelicans Bucks pick, if the Bucks don't have Giannis, is a pretty damn good pick. So by making this decision now, if he were to do it in January, right before the deadline, if the Bucks are kind of smack dab in the middle and have lost valuable tanking time, and I would counter the whole, and I did say this when people were kind of taken aback that, oh, look what they just set that money on fire for Damian Lillard. And it's, well, yeah, if you don't have Giannis, if you're worried about losing him, what do you care about that dead money on the books for the next half decade? And so it's not selfless, but I don't think it's as incalculated or selfish as people are making it seem, to where he just woke up and said, oh, hey, I am taking this week by week. I know I made the joke before. I'm ready to get out. He might just be surveying the lay of the land and say, no, it's not just about this season. There's no imminent pathway to us contending now unless I play all 82 games. And so I might as well nudge them to get rid of me now so they can capitalize on my value. Still season and a half left on his contract. So even if he gives them a list of one team, they don't have to abide by it. If you get a year and a half of Giannis, there will be teams that come in with large-ass offers. But what I would say, and this is a criticism, I think, of both sides, I understand these things are fluid, but, like, let's pick a lane. Do you want to be together or not? Because this is like, if you both kind of want to move on, like, just make the call at this point. It's more painful and just awkward for everybody at this point.
Right. So a couple things. I don't think it's a selfish decision by Giannis to, like, kind of keep the team on the hook. It's kind of the LeBron playbook, honestly, like over the years, where he would apply pressure to his organization to make a move, or like, hey fellas, like, I'm on a 1+1, don't know if you know. So if things don't happen, I might, if you don't go get me Timofey Mozgov or whatever, like, or just to take it way back, Giannis is kind of, it hasn't been quite as, like, passive aggressive, or however you want to characterize what LeBron has kind of done over the years. But it was pretty clear that the Bucks have made a lot of moves that mortgage the future because they have Giannis and they want to give him the kind of roster he wants, right? Like, so anyway, I would have asked that question, and that would have been my approach yesterday. We've just discussed it, but because it's interesting, but I actually don't think that's, because you see that a lot. Like, Giannis has kind of done a disservice to the Bucks by, whether it's getting Dame in the first place or the Miles Turner or whatever other moves they've made, like, they're just continuing to make the next half decade or more bad because he's got this misguided belief that, or whatever it is. Like, I don't think that's the right angle for this. But if you're trying to explain, like, one of the questions over the summer was, how can Giannis look at this team and see a contender? If it is true that what he wants to do is win a championship, wherever that is, how could he possibly look at this team and think that's realistic, right? Like, none of us thought that seemed irrational. And I think that's the key word for me now. And this is sort of how I absolve Giannis of blame, I guess, if that's even the right kind of way to approach this, is he has sort of a justifiable belief in his own like superhuman qualities. Like he just like walks around the world in a different way than everyone else. And in a league of super athletes, like he has dominated it, right? Like, so everybody in the NBA has a degree of irrational confidence. We just talked about Pat Spencer. Like Pat Spencer thinks this way too. The Giannis is just like an extreme example of it, where he could look at a team as bad as we thought the Bucks looked and as incomplete and as many holes as he could look at that and be like, well, I'm on the team. We got a shot, right? So it's like, it's much more, he was able to convince himself quickly. I think he sincerely thought, okay, I'm going to be here. I think we can win it in the summer or prior to the season, right? I think he believed that, because that level of belief in himself is like part of what got him to this point from where he started like his life and his career. And so I don't feel like it's a selfish thing. I think it's just he can't see the landscape clearly, because one of the things that makes him so great makes it impossible for him to make certain concessions like, oh, we aren't good enough. Actually, he needed to actually experience it through the first quarter of the season and see it and feel it and just look around at who's on the floor next to him and say like, okay, it's not about belief anymore. It's just like, we're under 500. There's no like, we don't have a superstar coming off an injury to like reinforce things. Like, this is what we are. That's, to me, does that make sense? To me, that's how I see this, is like, because it's so easy to be like, nothing's changed. Why couldn't you see this before the season and have just like made the trade demand then, or a year ago or whatever? I just think what makes him great is what makes him incapable of like pulling the trigger on something like this until it's just like, it's so obvious that it like breaks through the fog of his self-confidence.
Do you think the newness of the roster around him, though, could have contributed to the curiosity factor, where there is that level of self-belief, but also, well, I don't know what this is going to look like with like Miles Turner over Brook Lopez, and like we're getting more of a egalitarian approach from the supporting cast. And there's that. The other element, too, that I don't think any of us have really weighted enough, he doesn't want to leave Milwaukee. If he
100%.
had his preference, he would stay there. And for him, maybe even more so than Damian Lillard, it's more difficult to bring himself to leave because he has already won in Milwaukee. And so, because the other thing I was going to ask you is, at this point, isn't there a chance, like maybe a lot of this will depend on what the packages look like, and I promise we'll get into those later down the line. Could the Bucks still salvage this situation if Giannis is like we just mentioned, they could still be bad this year, get a pretty good pick. Then you're either bringing in this talent from the 2026 draft, you will have the ability to trade 2 first-round picks this summer in 2031 and 2033 on top of whoever you've drafted or wherever this pick lands. If he kind of just gets on board with a gap year, could you see this all ending, or are we getting too far out in front by saying, well, that depends on what the offers might be on the table? Because I think it might be easier to say, well, they should see what's out there before going, like trying to salvage this situation or thinking that's the best route. I just keep coming back to, I do think some Bucks fans, there have been a lot in our comments that just want to trade Giannis at this point. I kind of applaud them ripping off that, because frankly, that's how this is going to end. I don't know who needs to hear this. This is how it's going to end. But like, I've kind of seen people jumping through hoops of just like trying to twist themselves into a pretzel of why this could all still work out. Maybe it could, but I'm just, the level of the number of things that need to go right. First and foremost, you need to sell Giannis on this being a gap year, because I will say the Bucks are not getting to that point of contention without going through this gap year, getting that good pick, and then either are you keeping that player, trading the other 2 picks, and that's what you're forming with Giannis, or you're trading everything. That's to me, is the only pathway that could make it so Giannis might see the Bucks are good enough, or the Bucks are actually in a position to be good enough to keep his interest, would be, we have to stomach through this gap year. And that's kind of what everyone was saying before this season ever started.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So part of that rests on the reality that, like, when we went through some Harden Clippers trade stuff, like the Bucks came up and we were talking about like what the Bucks can give up. So the part of what you're arguing is that they just don't have enough. Like, even if they just want to continue down the road they've gone down for the last several years, trading future picks, whatever, to just get another guy in there to help Giannis, it's just too hard to do something meaningful enough in season to make that kind of improvement. And you're saying, like, at the end of the year or at the start of the next league year when they can trade on draft night this pretty good pick they're probably going to get, like that's when they could get the guy that they could sell Giannis on as like,
or
we can win now, or
is it for them specifically? Is it sort of the Damian Lillard Portland situation where remember where they ended up in the lottery or they got Scoot? And
right,
so it's
right.
let's say the Pelicans win the lot. Let's say the Pelicans and Bucks end up drafting 1 and 2, which would be a disaster for New Orleans, quite frankly.
Yeah,
but
right.
if you end up with a top 3 pick anyway, because New Orleans was so bad that their pick heads to Atlanta, they might say, if they end up with one of the 3 best, we have the guy, we're okay moving on from Giannis, or like to your point.
Oh, I see. There's 2 ways to salvage it. One is they get the guy, they get the Cooper Flag, or they get the whoever that like, well, we got like, we can sell fans on this new era. We can move on from Giannis because we're going to build around. We found someone that's worthy of building around that isn't him, or they could use that pick and some other stuff to get a veteran and keep doing the same thing.
There's that, and then the third thing, you split the baby, and where does split the baby come from? Why is it? Why? I've said that.
As all weird ass things come from, it's a Bible thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'm biblical. Who knew it? I didn't. So could you say, okay, we have this because if you draft someone who's good in 2026, if you are still dangling just your 2031 and 2033 selections with salary matching, teams are that's gonna pique curiosity. And so you could say, hey, we have Giannis. We think this player X can contribute semi right away, but we're also going to go out and get player X. And so they would just have more optionality if you go through this season as a gap year with Giannis. And I honestly thought there was some sort of tacit agreement as to that's what was going to happen if things started to go off the rails, to where we haven't even mentioned the calf strain that's going to sideline him for 2 to 4 weeks. He's not going to be all NBA ineligible at the end of this. That was kind of the scenario in my head, was if something like this happens, he will just be on board throwing away. Not ideal. He's about to turn 31. I'm not saying this is ideal for anyone, but if you're trying to make it work in Milwaukee, which is the guys under which they want all of us to operate, I thought that was the end, which is why I find the timing of this because it does seem then like he either did change his mind or there was some fundamental disconnect between what the organization was selling and what he was buying.
I got to believe he changed his mind, because I think everybody's posture was, we got Miles Turner, we got some shooting, we got Giannis, we think we can contend in the East. And I think that just reality kind of crept in, and that was that they can't. It does feel like, to me, it feels like more of a mind change. But you could be right that like the Bucks told him one thing and then the situation turned out to be different and he's out. I do think it is important to keep in mind this idea, though, that you're raising of, look, I think a trade's going to happen. I think it's just like, it's one of those like, doesn't it have to? Like, it's one of those things that, like, I don't know. You could throw whoever, Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, Ja, like Dame years ago. Like, if it happens enough, like, how often do these things ever resolve in like a, you know what, we're gonna hang together? Like, it just, I don't know. The ball starts rolling downhill, and at some point you can't reverse the momentum. It just that's how this feels to me, especially since we did get like a little, it might happen over the summer, right? Like, and maybe if the Knicks had more to give, it would have.
This is the most drawn out, and some of it is media manufactured, to be sure, to where people had Giannis circled before Giannis was it, but it's just, this is what we're 2+ years now of Giannis having wandering eyes, maybe even 3, and so it feels like it's been. I agree with you overall. I just don't. I'm wondering if it's harder for the Bucks to let go of Giannis, because how much longer would it take you to find another Giannis? You're probably never. And this is, I'm not trying to disparage Dame here. The connection with Portland and the city, just this equal to what Giannis has with Milwaukee, I'm sure.
But Dame was never as good as Giannis. Like, correct. That's just, Dame was never capable of being the best player on a title-winning team. Giannis did that and has played at a level that he could have been 5-6 other seasons, correct, basically. Very different situation. So yeah, the Bucks, that's an interesting question. Who is this harder for? Like, is it harder for Giannis to say, I want to leave Milwaukee, or is it harder for the Bucks to say, we're ready to move on from Giannis?
I think it's for the Bucks' part, just because the player, you can always say it's not like people will point out, and they already have, well, look at all the Bucks did to try and keep him, and it's no shit. he's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
Like, your obligation is to try and win with Giannis Antetokounmpo. For the Bucks, I think it's just we're never going to get someone like him again. And if it is, it's going to be 50 years from now.
Right.
And
like the distance between Kareem and Giannis is like the distance between Giannis and the next guy.
And the other thing would be, while this isn't fair for us to as a reason to why like, Giannis should feel obligated to the Bucks have to look and say, like, look at what we've done to like really try and float this Giannis thing further. But I don't. It would be different for them. The fact that they haven't traded more future first round equity, 2031, the 2032, like haven't touched those. It just makes it. This is the point of where it's going to be messy because of how long it's taken to get here. But we're kind of at the crossroads of this can be a pretty clean break to where you haven't doubled down again. You did the Dame thing, and then you never really did anything nuclear after that. Everybody can move on, and you're going to get a haul for Giannis. The timing of this is also, it probably would have been better to move him over the offseason, but it's better to move him now than this summer because teams that aren't on his preferred list, they are still going to come a year. We have 18 months to sell Giannis on sticking around. They are going to, it's a lot different than just, we only have one season.
Yeah, no, I think, it feels funny in light of like the Bucks waived and stretched Damian Lillard. Like that's a crazy outlay to just, I don't know, just again, it's part of the series of moves to sort of give them the possibility of surrounding Giannis with enough win now talent. Like I think the Bucks can say we did everything we feasibly could have to make this work for Giannis. And so like they can kind of, if they want to make the break, they like nobody's going to be able to tell them like you didn't try hard enough. Like, this comes up when we talk about the Warriors sometimes or other teams. It's like, go now. The Bucks have been going now for a really long time. Like it's almost to the point of like, it's unbelievable how many years in a row they've tried to do this. So like, it's kind of like the reverse of the Clippers tear down hypothetical of like, man, there's a lot of people to blame here where it's like Giannis just is kind of loyal and believes in himself and the team and stuck it out longer than most people in a situation would have. And the Bucks tried their best to like make it work. And it's cool if they want to split. You know what I mean? I think you're pointing to that a little bit of like, there's nobody to blame here. Everybody's done their best, like, and came at it from a good place.
And this leads me into what would be the big question, because you start to get into now everyone's like, okay, well, what about packages and what teams make the most sense? The team that Giannis has been linked to the most is the New York Knicks because they were apparently on his preferred list of destinations, which, okay, sure. Like if you want to play with Jalen Brunson in New York, like I totally get that. The Knicks arguably make the least sense for the Bucks of any single team that could make a Giannis Antetokounmpo offer, because you could get into they're like honestly, they probably do make the least sense of any team for the Bucks. Well, I'm just trying to think of who has fewer. The Knicks cannot trade a single first round pick right now. They can trade up to 2 over the summer. Is there another team that is that down bad when it comes to putting together a package for Giannis?
I mean, who's got the Suns? Like the Suns have no control over their picks.
But even then, it's like and they're not going to give up. So the Suns maybe.
But no, this is where that conversation because we'll talk about the Knicks because they've been talked about. But like, there's no scenario where they have the 5th best offer for Giannis. Like it's just they're in the conversation because Giannis seems to want to be there. And if he is like, this is where it could turn a little uglier, is if he says Knicks or nothing and the Bucks just can't, you get a stalemate that way. Cause the Bucks are like, we've got 28 other offers that are better than what the Knicks are offering. Like, so how are you going to do us like this now after we've, that could make it messy. I don't think the Knicks are realistic for like 100 reasons.
In my unbiased opinion, I think he should absolutely say that it's Knicks or bust.
We understand.
But here's what's interesting is, so now because Giannis name checked the Knicks, you've seen a lot of, well, the Knicks, they can't do this if they can't just give up everything to get Giannis. And then the response naturally is what your face was just now. No, you've already mortgaged the future. You give up everything to get Giannis. Here's my counter to that. One, your reaction is right. Short of trading Jalen Brunson, because the whole idea would be to pair those two together, the Knicks do not have a leg on which to stand if they're just going to say no, like in theory. But as the Knicks, you do have to look at, we're pretty shallow now, even though we're deeper than last season. If we're consolidating into Giannis, how are we much better off short or long term? How much better off can you actually get? Now, the idea of having Giannis and Brunson, your ceiling is just higher than if you have Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Brunson. But the extra steps that come with having Giannis, where even in a league where we're seeing more of these dual big lineups where both of the bigs are non-shooters, Giannis kind of needs to have a floor spacing rim protector around him to be maximized. So you have to factor that in to the equation. You also have to realize, well, we're already expensive. We'll have some picks to trade this offseason, but who are we going to go out and get? We're not going to have any money to spend. They're going to be up against second apron concerns. They might not even have the mini MLE. So I look at it from the Knicks perspective. If you're the Knicks, you have to say, well, there has to be a line to where, no, we can't give up both OG and Mikal Bridges, because Giannis is going to guard the ball all of a sudden, especially if Deuce McBride is being sent out. Go ahead.
I was going to say, no, I mean, so normally, and I almost said it, was if you're the Knicks and like the depth issue, sure, concerning. But if you can get Giannis and pair him with Brunson, you figure out the rest later. But what we're going to talk about a lot today is like, maybe that's the wrong way to build a team now because of how things are changing.
And to that end, I think it's easier for the Knicks to take what your stance was. Just do it and figure out the rest later. Because
you're the Knicks.
Already, well, no, it's not just because you're the Knicks, but you've already just set all of your future first round like equity on fire at this point. But for teams that haven't yet, this is the question that's kind of springing to mind for me, is are we past the point where you're going to invest so much pick equity in a singular player, especially at a certain point in their career? Because the question that you and I bounced around, which was one of the catalysts for this podcast that we're having right now, what's the last superstar trade age 30 or older that just worked out, where you saw them give up everything? You could say, some people argue that, the Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell trades haven't panned out. And one, they were younger than Giannis is now at the time. And also, the Timberwolves made consecutive conference finals, and I'm not writing. Like, Cleveland is still my pick to come out of the East this season. I don't like the Kevin Durant stuff has like not worked a couple of times now. You look at like I guess the Mavericks trading for Anthony Davis, special circumstance, that hasn't worked out, obviously. And so you get to a point to where, because superstars reorient the way you play so much, is it almost, I don't want to say it's a better idea. Is it easier to say we're going to give up what we did for Desmond Bane than what it would take to get Giannis? And then the other thing there, the second part, and this is where I really want your input on, just given what we've kind of seen, the emphasis around the league on certain trends, depth, offensive rebounding, which is that's not a star thing. Who's a superstar that offensive rebounds a ton?
Right. It's like we've decided to do this is
right.
What that is.
And then if you want, the depth is important because of, one, you want to be able to play different ways, because despite what people say, the NBA is not a homogenous league stylistically. And two, if you want to do all this full court pressing, all this crazy defensive shit, or play offense at a quick clip, you probably shouldn't be having guys out there for Nick Nurse minutes per game. So investing in a superstar, looking at it through that lens, especially as a copycat league, which saw the Pacers kind of do it for 3 years, whatever it was, and now we're just seeing more of it peppered throughout the league. Grant, is it just more prohibitive than ever? And this is nothing of the aprons and like juggling like roster building after the fact. Is it more prohibitive than ever as any sort of team to go all in on one player?
I think there's so many ways to go here. I think the first thing that jumps to mind is that I think it's pretty clear that trading for the post 30 superstar, unless it's, I guess, like, what would you point? Would you point to like LeBron coming back to Cleveland? I don't even know if he was 30 then, for the second time, or LeBron
he might
going
have been 29.
Yeah, and that's not like that's not the kind of trade package we're even really talking about now. Like Harden is another one that teams have given up a ton for past 30, and it just hasn't worked anywhere.
That was LeBron's age 30 season in Cleveland.
Okay.
When he went. He also didn't
I
get
can't even
traded.
remember what was that package like, or did he just?
He didn't get traded. He just signed.
He
there.
signed, right? And then they do the Kevin Love deal that involves Wiggins, or the pick that was all this. Yeah, right. So that's not an example of what we're talking about. No, you're
What
right.
is
Like,
the-
I think
is it Kevin Durant? It's Kevin Durant to Phoenix, except Giannis is younger and, and better.
yeah, I think I saw someone pointed out the other day that if Giannis were to be traded, it would be, well, he can't make he won't make all NBA probably, but like basically you don't see all NBA players traded in season almost ever.
Can I interject with something completely random that you just made me think of? Giannis isn't going to be eligible for all NBA. Tatum, Hallie already gone, J-Dub gone, LeBron's not going to hit that threshold. Will Steph hit that threshold at this point? He's 7 absences in.
Maybe.
Would it not be utterly hysterical if both Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson made first team All NBA? Just as a Mavericks fan, like that kind of has to suck.
Oh, we'd have to do a separate podcast on that.
I'm not making fun of Mavs fans there. I'm just saying that's got to be like kind of, you gave up these dudes and like what are you left with?
Yeah, but they
like,
got so much. They got so many first round picks for the both of them.
Max Christie is generational talent. Yeah, correct.
No, okay, so there's that part of it. There's it's just generally, regardless of what we think is happening to the NBA, like tactically and like trend wise and asset management wise, like it's probably just a bad idea to trade a bunch of stuff for someone over 30, like full stop, I guess, if it's a superstar. I do think I love the idea of asking whether, you know, we've seen like just, I don't know, Miami's an example, Portland's an example, Toronto, like all these teams that are just playing, Houston, not to say none of these teams don't have stars, but it's like the way they play is kind of more definitive of who they are than any single player, maybe. Like, I don't know, Alperen Şengün might have something to say about that, but so then if you're asking like, should you just not give up as much for a Giannis type player insofar as there are any? Like, it's tempting to say yes, like the market has shifted a little bit and you've got to be more careful with those types of trades and what you're willing to give up for someone like Giannis that would just change everything about how you play, just redefine. I mean, you could extend that to like LaMelo or even Trae Young or whoever. But isn't the pushback that, yeah, like the game's changing, teams are hacking pace and offensive rebounds and full court pressure and depth and all this, like the Pacers of it all from last season. But then like, I don't know, what's the last team to make a conference finals, let alone win a title, that didn't have someone you could like squint and say that's a top 5 player? So isn't the guy we're talking about, the Giannis in this hypothetical, still just a necessary component of the whole operation? And if you don't have that, what are you even doing? So therefore, you should just give up everything you can to get that guy and figure out the rest later.
My counterpoint to that would be, of the teams that are winning these titles, how many of them have ever needed to trade for the best player on their team? And if they did, how much do they need to give up? So Shea with OKC is just, no one expected him to be that, but they got stuff. That was them trading. So even Kawhi in Toronto, yeah, they traded for him, but they gave up like that. That was the leverage situation. It's just no one knew what he was health-wise. Everyone thought he was going to leave to go to LA the following year, so they didn't give up a ton to get him. It's even just, you know, continuing through the Knicks lens, because they were just the inspiration of, by no means is it rational to say, well, we're not giving up OG Anunoby, or we're not giving up Towns, or we're not giving up Mikal Bridges and Giannis trade. But I understand the logic. Even the Knicks, the way they've built their team, like, it's just, when's the last time a team is gutted its own like sort of draft stable, doesn't have this premier homegrown guy on the roster, and won a championship?
Right. So like the question is like,
Lakers
who's the last,
with LeBron?
Who's the title winner that made a trade that you could even compare to a potential Giannis trade this season? Like, who's the last?
Is it Davis with LA? That's because they gave up a bunch of stuff for Davis.
But even then, like what was that package even though? That was a pretty heavy one.
Hardball, Kuzma was in there. They end up getting the pick that was DeAndre Hunter's pick was in there.
Yeah. Ingram's in that deal, right? Or I mean, maybe that's the exception that proves the rule, or maybe that is just like the blueprint. I don't know. It's interesting because like, if you look at some of the teams that Giannis might go to, like Atlanta comes to mind. Like I feel like I read that Atlanta would be regarded as the favorite to come out of the East if you added Giannis. And it's like, yeah, that sounds right. Just assuming, you know, just who knows what they would have to give up specifically. But like the precedent for that being true just is Davis and what else? Like there aren't a lot of examples of that kind of trade leading to the result you assume it would lead to. So like when you think about like, I don't know, think about like going way back, the Rockets, when they repeat as champs, they get Clyde Drexler. Like, he's clearly their second best player on that team. Or like Rasheed Wallace to the Pistons is the other like mid-season trade that's like, oh my God, that made all exceptionally talented, not their best player probably, right? Like you might say that's Ben Wallace or Chauncey Billups or whatever. So like that level, there's a precedent for that level of trade, like propelling you to a championship. It's really much harder to find the like, if you're Atlanta and you're like, we can win a title if we get Giannis. It's like, maybe, but like unless you think the Anthony Davis trade is like how it works every time, I don't know. And then to your point, so then what's it worth to give up for that guy? If it's like, odds are it won't get you the title you think you're going to get, because it's the Shays, it's Jokic, it's Detroit has Cade Cunningham now. That's a homegrown guy. They gave up nothing except many seasons of losses to get. Like, well, you can always pay in losses. That's the best thing. That's the best currency.
That's the argument against what we're just asking questions here. This is an extension of that. Is you have to think in the short term if you're good enough to an extent, because when are you going to have this chance to win a title again? My counter to that would be the Oklahoma City Thunder exist. And is there a team, like just looking at this era of basketball, that you put Giannis on, and let's assume the trade package, you look at it and say, oh, like they made out pretty well. That's a little less than I thought. That Giannis, like he went for Karl Anthony Towns straight up. No, just So you're feeling that way about the package. What is the team you put him on where you would say, oh, that's a team that's on par with Oklahoma City? I don't have one.
Well,
maybe
I don't
Houston,
either.
If they don't have to give up Şengün or Amen Thompson or Kevin Durant.
Even then, you still got questions, right? Like even then, it's you're asking fit questions. You're asking like, what's the share of touches look like now? I think like the counter to we're just doing a lot of countering. I don't think that can be a factor, because like I was thinking the other day, like, I don't know, the Kawhi Leonard led the Toronto Raptors to a title over the Warriors because the Warriors fell apart. Like Klay Thompson blew out his knee and Kevin Durant blew, like, I'm not saying like, it's just like you can look pretty indomitable until you are eminently beatable. Like, so not to say that the Thunder are so much younger and it's just a different situation, and it's like they seem more stable in every way.
But and Jalen Williams, they've risked Chet Holmgren's deal with a bunch of different stuff. Anything could happen.
Right. So I guess my cop-out answer to your question is like, I don't think there's a team you put Giannis on that could realistically get him and give up what it would cost to get him, and you say like they're going toe-to-toe with the Thunder fully healthy, like no doubt about it. But I think like that can't be your bar. Because if the Thunder are healthy, then it's just like, well, like I said last time we talked, it's like it's kind of impossible to play better than them based on historical precedent. So like, yeah, we're all playing for second, but things happen, you know. So that wouldn't be a factor for me. I'm most interested in your, because this was kind of
you look like you're struggling.
You came with, I'm in pain because there's thinking so many different thoughts. I want you to kind of like break down to me some of the idea of just the way the game is being played now. Are you saying that it's not just the trade package and the assets you give up for a player like Giannis, it's the payoff itself isn't as great because of the different ways that teams are using to win now? Like, use the Pacers last year as an example. They had Halliburton, who, I believe is a top 5 player. But
what Giannis is better than these players I'm about to name. So like, let's look at Halliburton as the example. What differentiates Tyrese Halliburton from Trae Young, Ja Morant specifically? I mean, I think LaMelo Ball is basically on par with, prime LeBron at this point. But what differentiates Tyrese Halliburton from a lot of those, or just a lot of traditional stars in general, is the way he plays is going to be more scalable. And I know he played on the ball a lot in Indiana, but there's a lot of things he was doing off the ball that we have never seen Trae Young do off the ball. Ja Morant was stationed off the ball last year, and he pouted for a few months. He was on the ball this year and pouted too, so I don't really know what's going to make him happy there. Even LaMelo, when LaMelo takes a catch and shoot three, and he's taken more of them this year, it's, man, that feels good, and it also feels foreign. And a lot of that's more personnel based in his situation. I think even we're kind of, the view on those guys, isn't it almost feeling like a little bit of an extension of how we've come to view guards who can't run the offense or play wing spots? You're not viewing them as one-dimensional, but you're building your teams differently. And so it's, yes, when there's a Luka, all things are going to run through Luka. But even Luka in Dallas and what we've seen in LA because of Reeves and now that LeBron is back, that's not even going to be someone who should be peak heliocentric. What are the Knicks kind of finding out with Jalen Brunson? That no, he shouldn't be our all. He's still their all everything, but maybe we should get this guy some catch and shoot threes or have Mikal Bridges bring the ball up a little bit more. There's different levels to it, but the way that it feels like offenses are being run, I don't want to go as far as egalitarian, but there's more complexity to the way a lot of these shots are being generated. And I don't look at I'm trying to think of the number of teams right now I look at, and you could pinpoint, yes, there's plenty of teams you lose one player, it's over. But like how many teams are just all in on like one singular guy as their entire, like even the Nuggets with Jokic, because you have Jamal, like there's just different levels to that pecking order. And then the other, even more than that, to me, might be the stuff that's happening around the way you're like offensive rebounding. You said it before. That's kind of a decision, and you need to tell it's not, we have this there are stars who can do it, but it's not they're a superstar and they offensive rebound a ton. Right. It's no, like we're going to load the deck with like a Mitchell Robinson, or we're going to have a Steven Adams on the team. Or we're just going to try and play dual bigs and be super huge. And that's the other thing is Houston's experimenting with, we're just getting away from positions in general, but we're almost getting away from the idea of even a primary playmaker. And I know that this doesn't necessarily fit the context of Giannis but when you combine it with everything else, including the way that a lot of teams want to defend now or what you're dealing with when it comes to full court pressure, and then you're going to need the trickle-down effect of that is teams need instead of 2, like 3 or 4 guys you trust to bring the ball up the floor because of that. I'm just wondering if it dilutes what it's worth to go after and get a star you don't already have because of the baggage that comes with it. And what I mean by baggage is not necessarily bad things, but, well, you need to retrofit your roster around some of these players. And Giannis would fall into that bucket. There are very few stars. I think if you I think Tyrese Halliburton, Steph are great examples of this. You just put them on any team, and you don't necessarily have to make changes around them, at least on the offense. They're just going to make it work regardless. With Giannis, it's sort of, whether it's defensively, it feels like there's more thinking needs to go. It doesn't change how good he is, but more thinking needs to go into building a team around him. By the way, it's the argument some people are making to differentiate the MVP between Jokic and Shea, to where they think that it's easier to build a championship team around Shea than it is Jokic, or that if you're so dependent on Jokic, does it leave you especially vulnerable to establishing an identity independent of Jokic? And there might be something to that when you look at how much the Nuggets have struggled without Jokic on the floor. His entire prime, basically. And that's where I'm coming at this from, is now it feels like, okay, a lot of these things have maybe existed at one point together, but now so many of them they're not just happening concurrently, but they're in the spotlight concurrently, that I'm sort of just wondering, it's not that we're getting away from superstars, but I wonder if we're going to get away from the idea of if we're this good and need to get to the next level, like if Giannis comes on the market, 4 first-round picks, our best young player, quality veteran, build off that, let's go. I don't think that's going to be as reflexive. And I'm also wondering, does sort of these trades of years past serve as cautionary tales now? Because the Clippers will tell you they thought the Shea trade, like that trade was going to work out for them. It didn't. Even the Timberwolves with Rudy Gobert, okay, you're not trading in those 2 conference finals, but look at how hard it's been for you to like build off that. You made the Rob Dillingham swing, but if that doesn't pan out, your margin for error of making another move is so thin. I'm going to be very curious after this season if you were to give Cleveland truth serum. How do they feel about the Donovan Mitchell thing? The Knicks with Mikal Bridges, I think anyone in that organization would have said that they fucked up last year. They're probably, with Giannis on the trade market now, I'm sure there's plenty of people that still feel that way.
I think this is turning into like an even bigger question than it started out, and it was pretty big. It's kind of the Giannis trade is an interesting vehicle to discuss the trend of heliocentrism, I guess. And because I was just thinking, like, if what you're saying is true, or if it means that like basically the NBA since Michael Jordan has been focused on like, let's get the guy. There's only 5 guys on our team on the floor at once. If you have the greatest guy out there, that's what you need to start with. I think that's still probably true. Like title winners just have a top 5 guy, generally speaking, and then a lot more also. So like, are the old heads going to be like excited about what you're talking about or pointing towards because a team's system or like a player's ability to fit into a system and not need all these tweaks and all these other asset outlays and all this, that, and the other to onboard somebody and then to reorient your franchise around a player as opposed to like, here's how we play. Can you fit into this? Yes. Great. Well, we're willing to give up a lot to get you, but it's more of like a system or a team first approach as opposed to you have Kobe, you have Jordan, you have whatever, like, cause that's different than when you think about like to go way back and it's like Magic and Bird. Well, like Magic was part of the Showtime Lakers and made that thing work, but like Kareem was there and they had plenty of other great players and they were defined by a style. To some extent, I think that's true of the Celtics and Bird, and then Jordan shows up and it's like, let's put him on every commercial and every poster, and that changes how we think about what an NBA team needs first and foremost. And that theory is backed up by the fact that just title winners always have a guy that's like at that level. It's really interesting. I find it refreshing to think about a future of the NBA where it's like you still have your marquee stars, but it's just as important that they can play like in a collective as opposed to they just define who we are and we just fit around them. That's interesting to me. I mean, you might say, like, I think Halliburton is an example of that, and you've cited Steph too. It's like you can describe them as scalable, which you did, and that's right. Or you can also say like they don't define your system, they elevate it. Like, and they don't take anything away from it. They're still the marquee guys, but it's not like we're not having this conversation if Tyrese Halliburton or Steph is the guy that is looking to be traded. Giannis is a different sort. Like, and most guys are a different sort at his level. So yeah, it's interesting I don't know what the answer is. It's hard for me to believe the NBA wants to move away from heliocentrism, just like for marketing purposes and other, like it's easier to sell fans on like, look at what Luka did as opposed to like, look at how the Lakers run their offense. It's just, it's different.
It's not even, so I do wonder the whole thing about the de-emphasis of the singular star, but I'm also coming at it from the perspective of, have we reached a bubble bursting point of that heliocentrism extending to what you're willing to give up to create it or further it, to where the extension of it is the asset you gave up to create this heliocentric system. And I'm just wondering, it's kind of an analog for, remember going into the offseason, we thought De'Aaron Fox might be a flashbulb moment for the way that max contracts are negotiated. And now it's kind of pivoted to everyone's really just look at the trade values of LaMelo, Trae Young, John Morant, even like LaMelo specifically. He's on the fun max. And so if he doesn't have trade value now, like, so I just feel like the league is starting to reach a point where no, like stars are always going to drive the league. You need that guy. And yes, you're always going to be willing to, I'm not even saying don't go out and trade for that guy, but are the limits to what teams are willing to give up for that guy in a trade, are they now shrinking? And it's all going to be relative. I think a lot of this, as we said at the top, Giannis's age. And so if Giannis was age 25 and came on the trade market, it's different. Those players don't come on the trade market ever. Sometimes they used to leave in free agency. That doesn't happen anymore. And that's where I think this will be a good case study, because he's really good. He's also plays a game that, I'm not saying it's going to age poorly, but it is predicated heavily on athleticism and just being like a freak of nature on the court. I'm just curious. I don't think it's going to be a no-brainer for teams to give up. And if you don't have a lot to give up to begin with, I don't fault teams for even still drawing a line in the sand to say, okay, cool, but is this going to elevate our title odds for this season and next season by like 5%, and then like it's just over after that, versus we might still have outs if we stick with what we have this while having a 5% less chance this season and next of winning the title. I think there's going to be more to it. Stars of a certain age, sure. So it's easy to use that cop out, but I'm sort of wondering in general. There might always be the one guy that you say, oh, no, you give up whatever. And Giannis might just be that guy. Yeah. And if I had to predict, unless he really forces the issue, there's going to be a team that just comes in and goes like, kablam, here's everything.
Yeah, I think that's right. I just think like he's such an interesting player because objectively he's at like he's a top 5 guy, right? Like it just has been top 5 in MVP voting for 7 years, first team All NBA for he's just there. But he is like he is hard to build around. Like so that complicates it a little bit. I wonder if like 2 things will be true. One is it's a bad idea to basically mortgage your future for an over 30 superstar that you think is going to, reorient your franchise and win you a title. And 2 is teams are still going to do that because it's like irresistible. It's a, we struggle. Anthony Davis is the example. Anthony Davis was way younger than Giannis at the time the Lakers got him, and they got him with the idea of him being like a number 2 to LeBron, which like he arguably was better than him in those finals, but he wasn't more important. So Giannis is different in that respect. Go ahead.
I think is that this is almost the reverse, because now if you were doing it for Giannis, you could even say as the Bucks, if they had the opportunity to trade for just name the player with what they have. Well, we have Giannis. Yeah, we're going to do it. That's the AD and LeBron situation. With this, it's short of the Spurs with Wemby to where you really or the Lakers with Luka, not that they could get enough for Giannis. You can't say that, like, what are the Hawks? Let's assume they even keep Jalen Johnson. It's not, we're going to be this with Giannis. It's a lot easier when you're the team that has Giannis to make the decision to trade for that guy than if you're the team, to me, just because of the opportunity cost of trading for the guy that is going to instantly become because who is the team that trades for Giannis and the plan isn't for him to be their best player during whatever their title win was? It's maybe San Antonio, and the list ends there.
And that's a maybe, right? Because like Wemby is more scalable. Like you have to orient more around Giannis than you do Wemby.
Good point.
Maybe that just is going to push us into what we got to get to, is just not in broad strokes. We probably should talk about destinations potentially, right? Like that's maybe where this needs to go. Do you have a favorite?
Well, let's just get this out of the way first. I think we need to go through the greatest hits or the most talked about. The Knicks are here. I don't see just because he's been linked to them, which kudos to the Knicks. They have Giannis requesting a trade to them. Yeah. You could argue this is why you don't give up the boat for Mikal Bridges, or you could just say, well, they couldn't have known this was going to happen. I personally would be floored if Giannis ended up with the Knicks. And I will say, let's give that a sub 1% chance. And then there's like a fraction of a 10, like just a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent that if they traded for Giannis, I would feel good about them winning the title during that window because I don't know what they would be left with after the fact. And that's just a team where it's, cool. You were mentioned. Giannis thought he was going to end up there. And that is to what you said earlier, I think was Giannis had probably thought a lot of things that proved to be incorrect. So,
yeah. No, the Knicks have to be mentioned, but just in passing because they can only trade first round swaps. The money is hard to make happen. It's just
the money's easy.
It isn't.
Right. What I will push back against for people is the Bucks, if they get Anunoby or Cat and or Bridges and so they could just trade those guys and get more first round picks. You go spot that deal for me because Milwaukee's not doing the legwork if that's what they want. They're going to have New York do it. And now you go out there and tell me what are the teams that are coming in and throwing picks for any one of these guys. And by the way, this is how gamesmanship works. If you are giving up a bunch of stuff to get Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, you are on a similar timeline to that of the Knicks. So why not just throw those picks at Milwaukee to maybe try and get Giannis himself?
Right. Yeah, they're here because Jake Fisher reported that Giannis thought a deal was close over the summer, and because Giannis seems to want to go there. How messy does this? Like I said, the dynamics of the Giannis Bucks relationship change dramatically will have changed dramatically if he winds up in New York, because it will be the result of him saying, I'm never playing for you again, and I'm also never playing for anyone but the Knicks. Make it happen. Like that's
speaking of floored, that would shock me too. If anything like that.
It's not going to happen.
That's going full. That's even going more James Harden than James Harden went.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah. It's not going to happen. Giannis hasn't ever shown anything like a willingness to do that.
So who's next up? Who do we need to? Who's a team we need to talk?
I think we should talk. We've kind of talked around Atlanta a little bit, so let's talk about Atlanta. They can get it done, I think, without Jalen Johnson. I've seen hypothetical packages that are built without Jalen Johnson going, which is that means they're built around Trae Young, which is another thing where it's like, oh, the Bucks can flip him or he can keep them relevant for a while. All right, I guess. That's all. But the Hawks can do it, right? Like Reese Shea's in it. Maybe Daniels is in it just because Daniels and Giannis on the same offense doesn't feel like sustainable. You can. I don't have the picks in front of me. The Hawks are not like pick rich, except they could dangle that other. So you could basically guarantee the Bucks a really high pick as opposed to them probably getting one.
Could they have just 2
New
top
Orleans
5
one.
picks if they get the Bucks the Hawks commitment, which is the Hawks get the better of New Orleans or Milwaukee's pick. Milwaukee's getting the less favorable of those. You're just gonna have your own pick and New Orleans' pick at the end of that.
Yeah, you're getting the 2 best of the 3 basically, which could both be in the top 4.
If one of them isn't in the top 5, I would go as far as to say that would be shocking.
Right. So, I mean, that's where the package starts, is built around Young and that pick, I guess. And then assuming, like, if you just don't believe Trae Young is an integral piece of what the Hawks are doing, which the last few weeks have shown, like, I don't know, the bottom line results are pretty similar with or without him, then you add Giannis to that Hawks team, like, I don't feel like they're like not, out of their depth trying to beat the Pistons or the Knicks or the Cavs. Like that team could come out of the East for sure. That's totally on the table. Even though we just spent a bunch of time talking about how that type of trade never gets you where you think it is. But
so I'm wondering, in the Hawks, could it be unique because they have, let's say, this year's Bucks pick, or like just giving the Bucks that one? And there's, by the way, the 2027 commitment where they get the least favorable top 4 protected of Bucks or New Orleans. Just having those 2 assets maybe ensures that they don't have to give up as many of their out year picks, which would be a big deal. I have 2 questions. Let's start with one on the floor. Giannis and Jalen Johnson are an intuitive fit on the offensive end. I want to make that clear. So if you're able to keep Jalen Johnson, that's great. How do you feel about it defensively, knowing that Jalen Johnson doesn't do the things that the big alongside Giannis typically does? And so do you think that Giannis then slides into that role, or are you starting both of them with, are you keeping Onyeka Okongwu and you're starting all 3 of them or playing all 3 of them together? Am I overthinking?
a little bit. I think a healthy Porzingis does a decent Brook Lopez, like in terms of you're asking him to do 2 things, like be tall and drop coverage and shoot threes.
So is the idea then to play, though, Giannis, Jalen Johnson, and a big?
I don't think that's a bad fit. I mean, it makes it requires a little bit of work from really all 3 defensively, but I think Okongwu is fine to slot in there in different combinations. I don't have a real problem with fit-wise there. I don't think, you have to change a lot.
Just to be clear, not offensively.
Yeah, defensively, I mean, you don't want to count on Porzingis, I guess, and then I don't really have too many concerns there defensively. I think offensively that the sky's the limit with that group potentially.
I lied and still have 2 questions, but let's start with this, the first of 2. Does the way the DeJounte Murray trade ended up kind of biting the Hawks make them hesitant? I know that DeJounte Murray's not Giannis, but just looking at how that panned out, do they become hesitant at all to include just X amount of first? Like, they still owe first-round picks themselves to San Antonio.
Right. I don't know that trade specifically makes them hesitant. I think maybe if they are hesitant more broadly, it's because like they look around at themselves and say like, we got this pick coming from the Pelicans. We like our young core. Giannis is injured now, and like, can we just say Giannis will not be better going forward than he's been in the past? Like, that seems a reasonable assumption.
You're not saying he's going to make the next 7 first-team All-NBA squads?
So, like, if you're the Hawks, you could conceivably say, like, you know what, we're good. You really could. I think. Now, I don't know, maybe if they were...
I'm going to interject because that dovetails with my final question.
Okay.
What if the Bucks come in and say, we're not doing this deal without Jalen Johnson in it?
I mean...
This is why the question we just spent 30, 40 minutes on makes a lot of sense.
I think like, because Johnson is just on such a bargain and is more scalable and is going to have a longer runway, obviously. Couldn't you see the Hawks in that situation again saying like, no thanks, we're good?
I think because if you're the Hawks, at this point, aren't you viewing, if you're getting Giannis, the intent, okay, he's going to be our best player, isn't it supposed to be, well, Jalen Johnson's then our second best player? It's not, we're trying to pair Giannis with Trae Young. I don't think
Right.
that, even if Trae Young's not part of the trade. Because, by the way, the Bucks have so many different, like, you could get there without Jalen Johnson or Trae Young with the salaries that Milwaukee could have to offer. So if you have to give up Jalen, maybe if they're saying we don't want any of these picks, which I can't imagine, but not.
The picks would be like the first thing they should be asking for, it feels like to me.
I think, yeah, Milwaukee, from Atlanta specifically, you get into a different conversation with other teams because if you're Milwaukee and it's, well, we don't have control over our picks beyond a good pick this coming season, what do we do? So, yeah, if I'm Atlanta, I'm not, because the theory to me would be, well, what's the point of going, quote-unquote, all in for Giannis if we don't still have Jalen Johnson after?
They're interestingly like the perfect test for the question you're asking about, like, is it worth it to kind of mess up a pretty deep, interesting team that's young and flexible by
clearly
adding
not
this,
at the contender level yet. But,
by just saying like, okay, now we're built around Giannis and we'll see what happens. Like that, they're a really great test case for that.
Do you know who also might be a good test case for that though? A little different because they have, if he's healthy, one of the 5 best players in the league. Yeah. The San Antonio Spurs. I think these are the 2 teams where it's because Atlanta. I'm curious if Atlanta. Let's just say Atlanta had all their own picks, but they didn't have like the Bucks one / New Orleans one floater. I wonder if they would be mentioned as. Right, because he's a good fit on the roster with a lot of the pieces they have. But the Spurs, I digress. How do you feel about Giannis and Wemby together, Grant? Are you terrified if you're a fan of one of the other 29
I guess it's making me remember how long this whole Giannis thing's been going on because I definitely like wrote multiple Giannis to the Spurs is my favorite hypothetical last year and over the summer. So I like it a lot. It has my attention and I'm interested in it. I don't think there's a major fit issue there because Wemby is able to shoot the basketball and can do so much defensively that it's like, oh, well, if his offensive usage is lower, it's not like his value is gone. It's just like maybe the opposite. If you have a lower usage Wemby, maybe he's even better on defense. Like, right? Like there's nothing. What does Giannis taking away from Wemby other than the agency to like, just try a bunch of shit on offense for another couple formative years, which like, to be honest, like hasn't gone great. If there's a knock on what's happened prior to injury with Wemby is that like the Spurs kind of had the reins a little too loose to start the year and like the turnovers were high.
What else were they supposed to do?
No, it's fine. I'm just saying
okay.
it's fine. I think I would have done it too. It's just like, okay, we got a sense now. Like maybe Wemby can be a 1B for a little bit while we get our guards to develop and then just be the best defensive player on the planet. And that's fine. I don't think Giannis, really Giannis's fit there, depending on what the Spurs would have to give up, specifically with their younger guards, like I'd be more concerned about how he would minimize or fit with some of those guys than with Wemby. I have no concerns there.
But you mentioned it as the Bucks, like the Spurs can give up a bunch of picks. But is it you're only giving up one of Stephon Castle or Dylan Harper if the Bucks come back and ask for 2? Or what would you prefer as the Spurs say? Would you rather have some picks left in the bank because De'Aaron Fox is on the roster? So, hey, let's like if they said, I don't know, 2 firsts and Dylan Harper and Steph Castle, do you just, all right, we still have some like first round picks left over and De'Aaron Fox is here. Let's go do this. Or is the more preferable route, we'd rather give up picks and be able to hang on to one of Harper and or Castle?
I think you might rather give up picks because you know you're going to be so good. Like, and that doesn't even depend on Giannis, right? Like Giannis can give you 0, and because you have Wemby and you keep those young guards, like basically all of whom I like,
I would say
your own picks aren't that valuable.
I'm gonna catch shit for this. I would probably, if I could save picks, well, both of them is the question. But like the Steph Castle Giannis fit is weird, especially with De'Aaron Fox folded into there.
Castle's the one I'd give up first, obviously. Well, if you could trade, if Fox could be the salary ballast, like, would you consider that? I don't know if the Bucks would have any interest in that, but because you'd want the younger guys on rookie deals.
Well,
but like
they could say if you're also getting picks, they could say, well, we're going to get these picks and then we're still going to try to compete. I also don't think De'Aaron Fox is single-handedly ruining any tanking efforts, probably.
No, probably not.
The Bucks also should not be tanking beyond this season.
It's just interesting to think about because if you move Fox, it's kind of the same issue that has been like back of mind for a while. like, is he really the guy you want to take your shot on as like a max next to Wemby? You get like a do-over here because you add Giannis into that space, and then maybe you have room for a third guy that isn't Fox with the flexibility you add. Like, I don't know.
You are betting at that point though that Dylan Harper is going to be
for sure.
Yeah,
ready today, basically, which is like kind of an unfair bet to make. Yeah, if you add Giannis, you're trying to win the title now. So maybe Fox, you shouldn't think about giving up Fox.
And I think with Wemby, this gets thrown around haphazardly, and I know he's not dealing with anything chronic, but it's like you maximize the like Wemby is healthy now, or you know, and as we're recording this, he's actually not. He's what is he going to be 10 absences deep by the time this releases? So yeah, I think you have to keep Fox as the Spurs. I also don't know how much interest the Bucks would have as part of a
right.
It's the question would be. It's just like, how many picks does it take if you're trading one of Harper and Castle? And it's like, that might be is this the team to where it's, well, this is kind of where the over-under of picks is set on a Giannis trade. Is it 3.5? Is that too high? Are you going over-under on that?
It's so hard to know because, you know, you've got the Durant deal as one example. And then I don't know what to do with the Bane deal, just because that was so many picks for a guy that's just not on Giannis's level. And like, if you're the Bucks, aren't you just saying like, look at this is what this guy's worth?
Do you know what I'm saying in return though? They gave up some bad money and they gave up zero. You're getting a Steph Castle and or Dylan Harper. They didn't send out any prospect on that. It was like maybe the Knicks with Bridges, to where that was still an overpay, but the reason so many picks were included is they included 0 usable players.
Sure. So you can swap in the younger guys you're talking about, and just maybe 3.5 is about the right number at the over-under for picks, because if Castle and Harper are both in it, that's 2 like unprotected firsts, essentially, right? Like that's what they're worth.
If they're both in it, it better be the under of picks. Otherwise, that's wow. Yeah. Like if the Bucks get both of those guys and then even 3 to 4 first-round picks, I'll go as low as 3. It sounds stupid to say that's insane, but it's not. We just had this conversation.
I know it's hard. It's not a fair question because the offers would be different. But between the Spurs and the Hawks, which of the two do you think feels like is more likely to say like we're actually good? We don't really have an offer for you.
Ooh, I think it's the Hawks, and I think it might just be more out of pure hesitance rather than the Spurs.
And they got that pick. They got the lottery ticket.
They have that pick, but you kind of mentioned this when you were talking about the Hawks. Where do you rank Atlanta in the championship contender pecking order after they get Giannis? Whatever permutation we build with the Spurs, as long as Wemby is just still there, you're probably vaulting them into the top 5 teams.
Right, you're with Houston and Denver, like there with.
You're in that tier. For sure.
And you're also in the unique position of being able to say, like, we present the Thunder a problem they may not be able to solve because we have Wemby. Like, that's an interesting spot to be.
Which team do you think does that mean the Spurs have more incentive to go for it than the Hawks? Because you could look at it and say, well, the San Antonio has their best guy already, and Atlanta doesn't. Right. So should they be more desperate for Giannis? And I still think the answer is just the Spurs should be more desperate to win with Wemby than the Hawks at taking sort of a stab in the dark with Giannis, Jalen Johnson, and guys.
Yeah, it's way easier to justify a move if you can say we don't need Giannis to be our best player. It's almost like a luxury, you know. I think that makes the Spurs the pick.
Can I do a team that won't be involved, but I want to do a thought exercise for you?
Yes, please.
Which team can have the best Giannis offer? The Spurs, the Thunder, or the Hawks? If the Thunder aren't going to go after Giannis, and by the way, they shouldn't. Honestly, the whole discussion we just had, it would be malpractice for OKC to do that. But the question is, does OKC still have the best possible trade package for Giannis? Or because you know that J-Dub and Chet and SGA, of course, wouldn't be in it, does that sort of open the door to Atlanta with giving the Bucks, that pick or 2, or the Spurs with the young guys that they do have to give up in addition to picks? Does that, if OKC wanted to get involved but said, hey, J-Dub and Chet Holmgren are off limits, have we found the recipe for beating an OKC trade offer?
I mean, so the OKC offer would have to be built around the Clippers picks, I guess, pick and swap. And they have the top 4 protected Sixers pick. They have the top 8 protected Jazz pick, both in the immediate future. So maybe you just overwhelm the Bucks with like sheer volume.
You do your out years like 20, 30, and 32 because then it's Giannis is what age is he? What age? So you would have to do something like that probably.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be the Clippers pick this year. That's still just not more valuable than the pick Atlanta could send. The New Orleans Milwaukee one. I don't think, because you're getting 2 cracks at it that way as the Bucks.
Yeah.
So like in terms of like crown jewel asset, I think maybe Atlanta has the best. Is that fair to say? Atlanta has the best thing you can offer realistically.
Yeah. The best singular thing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, maybe this is what it's all been leading up to. This is why the Thunder have been hoarding all these picks or something like this. But like, I don't know if I'm. It's a volume question. It's like, do you want the singular best asset or do you want like the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, 14th best assets?
It's just stupid that we're having this conversation about a team that has lost 1 game. And might win 74, but this is just so dumb.
Do they need Giannis?
Is there any other teams that you think? I think there's probably one that we have to talk about, right? In the have to category, or no? Are you already out?
I'd say there's 2 more.
Okay.
I'm curious who you think the have to is. Is Golden State a have to?
No, but let's make them a have to. Shocker, you brought. I just spent the whole time on it. I totally get where you're going.
I thought you were gonna bring them up yourself. I mean, like, what does this look like? Is this Jimmy Butler's the matching salary, I guess? And why do the Bucks want Jimmy Butler?
Well, they could just trade him for other picks, Grant.
Yeah. So then this is immediately a 3rd teamer because like you said with the Knicks, the Bucks are like, you figure this out, Warriors. Where's he going? Not here. So find your 3rd team that wants Jimmy Butler at this money, which
you're
the last trade deadline suggested there aren't a whole lot that are going to work both for him or for the team. Is Draymond? I don't think the Warriors are going to trade Draymond. Like I just don't think, not because they shouldn't, but just because they will never do it. So then that is just Jimmy.
He also does. He'll also do a lot of the stuff on defense that maybe like if Giannis wants
the
to.
fit is awful. Giannis and Draymond for sure.
I was going to say defensively, it's not, is it?
No, it's fine defensively.
It's
Offensively, it's just the only way they've figured out how to make Draymond valuable on offense is to give him the ball, and like you're not giving him the ball over Giannis, and so he's just he's standing.
So the baseline, but let's say they were able to find something for Butler, but like their baseline offer right now is Kuminga, Pods, and like they can conditionally trade 4 first-round picks this season, 28. The front, like the better part of the 2030 pick.
30.
And then 2032 swaps in there. That is the meat and potato. Then plus, what are you getting for and you're taking back Kyle Kuzma, like because him and Kuminga, let's say basically a wash salary wise, probably. It would come down to who's giving you what for Jimmy Butler. I don't have the faintest idea. You could find a team, but it's like, what is the team that's okay? Yeah, we'll give you even a first. Like, are you getting 2 first? Jimmy Butler's still really good, but what team is giving you 1, 2 first-round picks for Jimmy Butler? So 2 that you can get Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Right. Yeah, this one's kind of DOA. It's almost like a Knicks situation. There's more picks to be traded and more like movable salary, but this will not happen unless Giannis says it's Golden State.
Where you're trying to find the middle ground with Giannis. Where do the Bucks have to do right by Giannis? And as an organization, at this point, I'm looking out for myself. But if you're trying to do the middle ground, because the Warriors can trade so many picks, you get Pods and Kuminga, maybe that's a team you're willing to talk to, and you're hoping Jimmy Butler, or you're saying we don't have our own picks, let's hope Jimmy Butler turns into a maniac for the rest of the season, and the team wants to give up a bunch of stuff for him this summer.
Yeah. I mean, highly unlikely, more likely than the Knicks, but that's not saying anything. I'm curious who you think the must talk about is.
Oh, I'm surprised that you didn't have them, but Houston? Do you still not view them as a team that we must talk about?
Well, make the case because they're
Giannis
not quite on the
is good,
and they don't care. They've figured out how to not have spacing be important. So if anyone can fit him, it's them. Is that the idea?
Do you think they've reached the point to where even if it was they could sub out Giannis for Kevin Durant, they wouldn't do it because of just the way that their team is built?
I think you probably rather have Giannis, I think, than Kevin
in a
Durant.
vacuum. But I'm just,
how does that work?
Well, I mean, like you could fill in this, but they do if they wanted to say, hey, Fred VanVleet, once he's trade eligible, the Reed Shepard's kind of the young guy that because Jabari Smith Jr. is poison pilled, you're not trading Ahmed Thompson. I mean, if you really wanted, if we're talking about young players who you think could anchor the face of your future, keep you competitive now, but be around for a long time.
Young Turkish players.
Yeah. Is it Alperen Şengün? If they say, hey, we want Alperen Şengün and fill it out from there, is Houston hanging up?
I don't think they're hanging up, but it is interesting. I think it might just be a no eventually, right? Like, just because it's the same thing with, I don't know, it's a more serious version of the Jalen Johnson thing of like, I don't know, what do you think the next 5 years look like for both of these guys, for Şengün versus Giannis? Like, in terms of games played, I know who I'm betting on. In terms of peak performance, it's obviously Giannis, but like, how often are you getting that? In terms of fit, like Şengün has managed to fit, and like that was a concern, right? Like, is this going to work in Houston with him?
He'd probably make an All-NBA team right now if the season
right,
ended, right?
Right. So like the gap there's still a gap. Like, Şengün is not Giannis, but he's probably better than Jalen Johnson. I mean, I think he is. But I could imagine Houston just, given the contract that Şengün is on too, like that's another similarity with Johnson where it's like, how did they do this?
Is there a point though where it's the Bucks would be willing to accept so few picks that Houston would almost have to go? Like, what if they just said, we want Şengün, Reed Shepherd, make the money work, give us 1 first-round pick?
So you leave with, you're built around then Amen Thompson, Giannis,
KD, Jabari Smith.
That's pretty interesting. I feel like how I just completely forget Kevin Durant after you just mentioned him. Like, who else is even on this team?
I don't think they're a real suitor for Giannis anymore for the KD trade, and I don't think they need to be, but it would be. Are they having a conversation? They're probably having a conversation.
I think
right?
so. I think they're having a conversation, and they probably look, when they targeted, they went for Durant. And like, they could have kept the powder dry if they had wanted to. And I think they decided, like, not only is Durant like a superstar upgrade, not on Giannis's level anymore, but like he makes sense here, where like you can't really say with a straight face, no, Giannis makes sense in Houston. Like, beyond, he's a good player, this is a good team, figure it out. Like, Durant provides what the Rockets didn't have in a lot of ways, and Giannis kind of doesn't do that, I don't think.
No, I'm with you. Who was that's all the must-tos, right? There's not, I mean, the team we could mention, if the Lakers just built something around Austin Reeves and whatever picks they can give up, that's, is that even a middle ground offer, or no, is the Bucks? That's not, I'm not taking it if I'm the Bucks, I'll say that flat out, but you don't know your own picks, and the Lakers are giving you some.
From the Lakers' perspective, that's one where they're positioned to be a cap space team, and maybe they're just thinking, why are we giving up anything? Right? Like, isn't there the summer 27?
LeBron for Giannis? LeBron has the no trade clause.
No, they could just wait it out. Yeah, Giannis has a player option for 27, 28 if he doesn't sign an extension anyplace. Can opt out after next year.
Free agency becoming cool again. Which I don't know that.
Yeah, the Lakers are going to sign a guy. Yeah, I don't know about that one. The team I was going to mention is Miami, just because like they have, I don't know, you could build it around. I don't think you want to, well, do you or don't you want to build it around Bam? Because wouldn't the idea be to pair those two together?
If you're the Bucks, you want Bam.
Versus Hero, Khalil Ware, and other stuff and picks? Well,
I mean, I'm probably asking for other stuff too, but the actual trade seems like it would be Hero, Khalil Ware, Kasper Jonas is being thrown in there, other money, and then picks.
Yeah. But then the reason I ask, like, should it or shouldn't be built around Bam is like, I don't love the Bam Giannis fit at all. I guess Bam shoots threes now.
Yeah.
So that's a little different than it's been in the past. And then defensively, that's going to work fine because
Bam can defend.
Do everything.
Maybe Giannis might have certain defensive limitations. Bam just doesn't anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I don't know. And Miami, maybe we've moved past the phase of this would be another great test of like Miami is kind of defined by a system now, and I do think Giannis driving in space in isolation is a pretty good setup. So this would be the you get to have it both ways. You get the ceiling raising superstar that fits what you're doing. But
then you're just like, that's it. Because like the Heat aren't super asset rich to begin with. So they're another team to where because honestly, if you had to give up just money, and maybe the Heat's players are too valuable to ask this question, but if you could give up just money for the Heat to take a flyer on Zion this year versus having to give up everything that's not but Bam to get Giannis, what's the direction that you would prefer?
Isn't that fun to have Zion in space just attacking, like when he's able to?
Yeah, and it's again, Giannis way more reliable, way better, but you're
Right.
giving up nothing. I'm thinking of the Heat's matching salary though, and it's just it would never be nothing. It would
Well,
be
like
we had
Wiggins
give
has
up
to be in there,
yeah.
and Wiggins is valuable to them. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, it might even have to be. I forget. Is it Hero and Wiggins? You definitely don't do that for Zion. Although Zion has the non-guarantee thing, right? Like you do get to treat it like a just a freebie for see what it looks like if you want to. And if you don't like it, yeah, well, we took a shot at it. We still have Bam and all our picks and stuff.
I think Giannis and Bam would be fascinating, but then it's
Yeah.
you still the way they're playing offense. I guess they don't. The whole point is to not need the guy that we've sort of referenced. But I would just wonder what does that offense age like in the playoffs because we haven't seen it yet for them in the playoffs. I'd be curious to see what it does look like.
Be nice to have Giannis if you weren't super confident your scheme was going to work, though.
One of the other teams that I wondered if they deserve a mention, Detroit. He kind of he's at the position where you could argue they need the upgrade, but I'm not sure that he does enough of what you want at that position. At the same time, Giannis and Cade, and I don't know who's left over. I'm assuming Milwaukee won't want much of Duren because of how much he's going to cost, and he sort of feels like his leap is he's valuable when you already have the guy around him. And so Milwaukee doesn't have the guy. I don't know what Jalen Duren means. So you're looking at Ron Holland, Asar Thompson, and picks. Is this just does Giannis not check enough of their boxes? If you're Detroit, are you investigating it? Because that's a hell of a trio.
Yeah, what's the marquee asset going back? Is it Thompson or because what picks?
It's Thompson, and then it's picks and Holland. Is that
Thompson just isn't the best guy though, right? Like I love Thompson as a supplementary piece, and maybe this is true for both Thompsons. Like until the shooting, or I guess I should say unless the shooting comes around. They're just not they can't be a centerpiece like for this kind of deal. I don't think. I imagine people feel a little bit differently about Amen versus Asar, but I don't know that they should. Yeah, I don't love the Detroit fit. I think because if I'm Milwaukee, I do want Duren in the deal, and I'm prepared to pay him. But then you're right. I guess Ryan Rollins and Jalen Duren. Let's go into the future boldly together. That's kind of fun, but how good are you really with those two guys?
Right. Another team that could be semi-interesting. There was one more so I'm just asking questions here. I want to make that clear. What if the Pacers they're putting just all the picks on the table, including this year's, to Milwaukee? And so the theory would be, what do we have to do to make it work so that it's Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Giannis next season?
Man, what's that money look like? Where's that?
I mean, Toppin and Nembhard is going out. You have Mathurin, Walker,
maybe. You could really give the Bucks I think the Pacers supporting cast is very competent and generally fairly paid. You could just give the Bucks all those guys. This is the ultimate. You keep trying to do this. This is the ultimate test of do you disrupt a system to add a superstar?
Well, and would you consider building something around Pascal for Giannis so that you have Tyrese and Giannis instead of Pascal and Giannis next season?
Man, I don't know. I don't want to mess with the Pacers in that way. Right?
It's also tough without knowing what Tyrese Halliburton's going to look like too.
Yeah, I mean, in one sense, I keep saying this disrupts the whole deal, but part of why I like Halliburton so much is if he's just playing off of Giannis, I think he's close to as valuable as he is was in his role last year. So it's not quite as it doesn't upend the whole thing quite the same way. Siakam's also so scalable though, and can do so many different things. I think if I knew Halliburton was if you could promise me Halliburton was just gonna be exactly as good as he was, then maybe you do that because you can figure out the rotation in other ways. You just replenish your depth somehow, and Giannis gives you a higher ceiling than Siakam does. But I don't know. I'm having a hard time trading Giannis anywhere. Is really what this keeps coming back to.
Can I continue just asking questions?
Please.
Is Toronto off the table if Scotty Barnes isn't involved?
How are you? What are the Bucks looking at and saying we
all
want
the
this?
picks? And then do you want Jacob Puddle? Do you want RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Brandon Ingram, of course, is there?
I think I need Barnes if I'm the Bucks, and I'm just like not that interested if he's not in it.
To be clear, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Is Scotty Barnes off the table if you're Toronto?
I don't know if he should be. I think Scotty Barnes has a good shot at all defense and all
That's what I
star.
was about to say. He's like in like kind of the 9-10 range on my MVP ballot right now, and so I might just be a little bit too high on him. But I'm sort of just, again, what is the Masai Ujiri's gone too, and so if the ties with Giannis was a big part of that, I don't know if he's gonna if that's gonna help you there.
Yeah, I mean, and does Giannis on that team? How good are the Raptors? Are they? Does that make them? They're definitely better than Detroit and Cleveland. And these. I mean, probably on pay. Like their championship odds would definitely be right there with those teams or above them, but.
Some of these teams become much more interesting if the Bucks have their own picks, because they might just be interested in the idea of let's just overload us with picks and we'll take salary back. It doesn't need to have a tentpole youngster,
right.
But even with a good 2026 pick expected to be in their clip, they kind of have to think it through it in terms of, okay, we need someone to look at as they're good now, but they might still be around and be able to headline things in the future or co-headline things.
Yeah, right.
Are you at all, if you're Memphis, investigating? Is it John Morant and is it Jaren Jackson Jr. and picks?
Memphis does have picks now. Some of them, well, they used.
It could
some,
be. Is it Cedric Cowherd in picks? That does that get the Bucks' attention?
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is, a lot of it rests. I don't know if the idea from Memphis' perspective would have to be Jackson and Giannis together. So I don't think Jackson's in this deal. And that means Morant probably is, and that might just be. I'm sure there are teams that are just not interested. But I guess if you package, if Coward's in it, and there's a pick or two or three, that's the other thing. If you include Morant, does that mean you have to add more picks?
Yeah.
Is that where we are?
I'm not viewing him as a negative asset, but it's not. Oh, you're getting Morant and one pick, and that's enough. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Morant in theory is someone that this is the core question is what do the Bucks want out of this? If they want a hard reset, if so, then Morant is not something you're interested in. But if it's we would like some butts in seats and we would like to be entertaining, in theory Morant could do that. But maybe that's the thing. The reason we're even discussing him is because nobody's sure that guy is there anymore. I don't know. What is this? Is this a just asking questions, or is there a part of this fit that you actually like?
No, I mean, him and Jaren Jackson Jr. will be fire, but this doesn't seem like a Memphis Grizzlies thing. What do you make of the Cavs always get thrown around here to where, because they can trade some first round equity down the line, but are you including who's off limits in a trade for Giannis from the Cavs it's the real question here.
I mean, so the thing that gets this done is Mobley. And I just the idea similar to Memphis with Jackson is don't you just, if you're Cleveland, aren't you only doing this because you think Giannis and Mobley could get you over the top? So I guess
I don't.
Mobley's
some of our
off
commenters
limits.
think that Giannis is that Evan Mobley is a glorified role player. So
that's the pendulum has swung way too far, too fast on Mobley. I think maybe I'd be more inclined. Jared Allen would probably just need to go in a separate deal, I think, because I don't know why the Bucks would have interest there. I could get behind Garland being in it, just because you get rid of the too small guard thing, and you've got plenty of questions about Garland's durability at this point.
Garland, Allen, and the first round pick that they could trade swaps throw in there is, I don't think it's enough. You'd need a team to really overload the Bucks with first round picks for Garland and or Allen.
Yeah. There's no way that's the best offer.
Would you do if you're Cleveland, Mobley and a first round pick for Giannis?
I don't think so.
Would you do Mobley straight up for Giannis?
I mean, you probably have to, but I wouldn't feel good about it because the Cavs are trying to win right now. And it's nice that Mobley has a long runway and will be good for a long time. But is Giannis better than Evan Mobley today? I think so, and probably next year. And then after that, who knows? But I think if the Cavs are all in, then you do that. Again, with reservations.
I have one final one before we get to stat padding with a special guest. And this is really just asking questions. And one part of it's only feasible when we get to the summer. Do you see where I'm going with this?
No, I'm excited to get there with you.
If you're the Magic Do you think do you think about if it's just Franz Wagner or Paolo Banchero for Giannis?
I think about it. I definitely think about it.
I'm having conversations. By the way, the Magic are not better off without Banchero as currently constructed. I want to make that clear.
You're clearly not getting caught up in the wave of
I'm just laughing because it's, Paolo's coming back, and the Magic were just top 10 in offense and defense the past 10 games. Do you know what they were in the previous 7 games before he got injured, Grant? Top 10 in offense and defense.
Yeah. Are you ready for the ball to stop all the time again, Dan? Is that what you're excited to watch with the Orlando Magic? Great. Good. No,
so you think they're better without Paolo?
No,
wow.
I don't. I think that's another pendulum that's swung too far.
Like...
I'm more open to that idea than I am to the Evan Mobley's trash idea. That has gotten way out of hand. But I don't believe that either.
This is all sort of just to say that there's probably only a handful of teams that make sense for the Bucks, and how do you see this ending? Do you think he gets traded? We both think he gets traded. Do you think it's going to be mid-season? Do you think it's going to be after the fact?
I'm going to guess Giannis does get traded, and it does happen this season. Even though it's just harder to do now than it would have been last summer, and it's probably harder than it'll be next summer. I just think we've had enough laps of the same thing, and everybody's going to want to just get it done. That's my gut right now. What do you think?
I think it's gonna get done. Yeah, maybe this season. It's gonna get done before next season, and I think it's gonna be the Spurs. I think there's gonna be other teams that are just like Atlanta might be a little trigger shy there, and I don't see the popular teams. He would really have to force his way. Like the Knicks, I know that he thought a deal was happening, which is notable, but also I just don't see it. To me, it's just based off where the Rockets and Thunder are in their competitive timelines. I view this as almost just like, it's the Spurs or the Hawks, right? This is it.
Yeah, those would be the two. If you gave me those two versus the field, I would take those two. If you said pick one, that I'm not sure, but those two feel like that's why we started with them. Those are the most logical. They've got what it would take. They're roughly, although slightly differently, in the spot where, the swing like this kind of makes sense. So I think it's them or I don't know. If it were a third team, I'm ready to be surprised.
Welcome to the Knicks, Giannis. It's stat padding time. Special stat padding for anyone listening or watching on YouTube. We would like to officially introduce you to Hardwood Knocks' social media video editor extraordinaire, Mr. Andrew Willet. Follow him on the social machines. Links are in the podcast and YouTube description, or just at the AC Willet 22. That's at the AC WILLETT 22. Go follow him on all the socials. Andrew, you've been doing great work for us up on the TikToks and the YouTube shorts and the IG reels. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great. I want to know how, more than anything, how Grant's doing.
I was just enjoying, somebody else has to field this one. I hate this question so much. I never know what to say. Now you get it, right? What do you say? I don't know. Fine, Dan. Fine. We're both fine. Move on.
I apologize for caring, guys.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a while. It's been a long time coming.
So we get to do triple, 2 people working through a guest player from the third person. This is a special episode of Stat Padding, but we wanted to ask you, just based off your background, Andrew, do you have any NBA allegiances? It looks like you might be a Bucks fan behind you? Is that?
Yeah. The past 24, 48 hours has been really upsetting for me as a No, I'm a huge Celtics fan. I have been since the 2010 finals. So
okay,
there you go.
Who's your guy? Is it Tatum?
Jaylen Brown's my favorite Celtics player.
Oh,
excellent. I love it.
Grew up a huge Rondo fan.
And
you're gonna love this, Grant. Steph Curry's been my favorite player for several years.
I mean, you're only human. What other choice is there?
Now, where does Jordan Walsh rank on this scale for you right now?
Did I send you this message? Because I was talking to someone. He's the best Celtic since Jaylen Brown. So there you go.
The other question, so you are younger than Grant and I, the streets are saying. So does this prove, the fact that you listen to this podcast, is this proof of concept that Grant and I are also young and hip and know what it do and things like that?
Never
what
say
it
that
do?
again.
That might have been sus.
I can't claim to be young or hip. I can't claim to be young. I can't claim to be hip. So
You've come to the right place in that case.
Are we ready for some guess-a players?
So ready.
We're going to fall into the gap. I will start. So for anyone who's new around these parts, I'm going to read the clues. And now Andrew and Grant, who have just met in person for the first time virtually, are going to have to figure it out.
Okay.
And I think, are we going to right off the bat have to get into the mind of a sociopath?
Oh, no.
Is what? I'm just wondering, is that what
I don't know.
is that what we're going to have to do?
I, unlike you, have not looked at these ahead of time, so I can approach this contest with integrity.
Are you sure that you haven't looked at it ahead of time? I'm trying to think. It doesn't look like we got one from Bill for you, Grant. That's rough stuff. But so we'll begin for Okay, so we're gonna go with this one from Candon 2591. Clue number 1, folks. The first player to have a triple-double in his first NBA start.
Whoa.
Man.
I think you're only getting 4 clues, guys, by the way.
Oh, boy.
Or no, wait, hold on. Is this the
Ooh.
Is this the only clue? I'm sorry, we're gonna need to double check this. This might be the only clue that
Grant, like Michael Carter Williams, had to have been very close.
Oh, that's
but
interesting.
I don't think he got there.
That's a great pull, though. My mind went to Elfrid Payton, but I know we've done him before. And I can't imagine. Yeah, right. So that's weird that's
wait, the only thing I'm laughing. This is your only clue.
What? Ridiculous. So wait, so it's one shot kill or nothing is what you're saying.
I will say so. I'm gonna add you guys are on the right track when it comes to the team.
Well, we've said players from 2 different teams.
Well,
we got to think about Ben Simmons then. If we're going, I'm trying to read Dan's face a little bit.
This is the first ever 1 clue guess a player. I don't think this has ever happened before.
This is real high. So I think Andrew, if it had been Michael, Dan wouldn't have given us an additional clue if it was Peyton or MCW. So we can't make that an official guess.
Yeah, it's not like a Markelle Fultz, right? Like that.
You guys are so warm. It's just not even funny.
I haven't got it yet, is the other thing I'm taking from these 2 probing guesses.
Yeah, you're gonna need to lock in a first answer before I give you any other.
Yeah.
hints.
Okay. So Simmons and Fultz seem to be out, but we're close. So it's got to be a Sixer, and it seems like process era Sixer. Who would that even be?
The other prospects are Embiid, Nerlens Noel,
Jahlil Okafor.
I also double checked this, and it is in fact correct. If anybody cares about this,
God.
Only player ever is
in his first start to get a triple-double in the NBA.
I mean, this has to be a process Sixers situation where it's like it's not someone that's actually like good. I wouldn't think, right? Because like I know we're naming like more notable guys. So who are there more obscure Sixers that like in the middle of one of those just throwaway seasons got to start and played like all 48 or something? You know what I mean? It's like maybe that kind of guy. Now I'm trying to read Dan's face again.
I want to say something like Tony Roten then.
Oh, that's fun. I would never have got Tony Roten. I'm gonna, you know what? Andrew's the guest, so I think we're gonna. How do you feel about that? If we go Tony Roten, I love the obscurity of it.
It's the obscurity of Tony Roten or Tyrese Maxey. Pick one of those 2. I'm down for either.
Let's go Tony Roten, Dan.
Final answer?
Yeah,
that is correct.
Oh my
Tony
God.
Roten. That was
what a pull.
AW pulling MCW right off the bat. I was just like, oh my God, are they just going to get this? So the reason I stammered at the beginning, it took me so long to start. I was like, where are the rest of the clues? This was just the only clue. I thought I did something wrong.
Oh, Andrew, there is nowhere to go but down from here. That's an all-time pull.
Honestly, Grant, you want to take us out of here? Let's wrap it up.
If you had told me the year, the team, that like I would never have gotten to Tony Roten. He's like not in my brain.
That's
unbelievable.
That's one.
Oh, Andrew, you get to experience Dan's mic being off.
Okay, I was confused.
That's one shot kill adjacent.
Oh,
that was incredible. Have we ever you had a one shot kill, Grant, the last time we did stat padding, and now another. Have we ever had consecutive one shot kills?
I doubt it. And also on one clue, the pressure of having one clue, unbelievable.
You guys are in a groove, so I feel like I'm gonna read you the next one that way, which is multiple clues.
Okay. How nice.
You have on this one, let me see, 6 clues to get this. And it might be 7. Clue number 1. Growing up, I was a multi-sport athlete playing basketball, American football, and track.
American football. That feels like a clue as to where this is coming from.
Notice they didn't say international high schools, which Grant does not recognize as real institutions, apparently.
Who was that? I can't
I don't even remember.
Yeah. I mean, I assume like basically everyone that made it to the NBA played a lot of sports. That's hard. What was the third sport?
American track was the third
track. Well, we have to make an attempt here. I don't know. It can't be him, but like Steve Nash is always the guy that talks about playing multiple sports. I'm sure we've had Steve Nash before though.
And he's soccer.
Yeah, right. And hockey would be in there too, probably just for the Canada of it all. I mean, we've done Tracy McGrady, but no, he's a baseball guy, so that's probably not it.
If we didn't give the clue, Discord member Nikolche Kolev gave this one. He won our over/under competition this past year. Shout out!
Oh man, so that's someone to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have? I would just be totally blind guessing, but we need to make one.
You just want to throw someone out there that looks like they ran track, like pretty built.
Who's got big quads?
Yeah. The very Celtics coded here, but my first thought was Shimmy Ojale.
Oh man, the depth. I was gonna say Anthony Edwards because we or something like that.
Nope. A lot of sense.
Ojale. Yeah, what are we doing? Guess a player. It's not gonna be Anthony Edwards. All right, let's go with that. Dan, 3 in a row.
That is incorrect. Nice try, guys. But what a pull though, Shimmy Ojale. Clue number 2. I wasn't just a random multi-sport athlete. I was ranked top 50 in the country in both football and basketball as a 6'5" 8th grader.
The first thing that's like Randy Moss. It's like this is an NBA guess a player, so it's probably not him.
Do you
6'5" in 8th grade. Oh,
Like, is it just they're putting an obvious one out there? We should have it immediately, and we're just.
I don't think this should be an immediate thing. I also didn't know that 8th graders could be 6'5". That's like Wemby when he was born, I think.
So it's not LeBron. I like that as a guess.
Uh-huh. And we got that canceled out, so.
Oh, I assume Dan would have told us if it was LeBron by now.
Oh, was that a locked-in answer? I'm sorry. Yeah. I thought you two were workshopping.
We're past one-shot kill territory, so we can just fire names off now.
Yeah, you're right. It's not LeBron.
Okay.
So here's clue 3.
Bunch of different sports. I don't know.
Are you guys ready for clue 3?
Yeah, we need to be grounded in an era somewhere here.
Clue 3. I ended up following in my mom's footsteps and chose basketball as my sport. When it was time for college, I was largely expected to join my hometown university, but ended up playing at a university in North Carolina.
Oh, I was thinking JaVale McGee until you gave the university there. I know his mom was a really good player.
I was bouncing from Jaden Ivey. I know his mom played.
Yeah, Ivy's what, Purdue? Dan, where did Jaden Ivey go to college?
let's not do this.
North Carolina. All right. Followed in his mom's footsteps.
That could have been Duke. It could have been North Carolina.
Yeah, I know. Well, so Grant Hill's dad was in the NFL.
Who went to
I
NC
don't-
Greensboro?
This player?
No.
Because I got nothing. If that's I could not name off the top of my head. I kind of like Grant Hill as a guess. I don't know what his mom did, but his dad played football, and we got American football in the first clue. North Carolina.
Not Grant Hill.
Cool with that. Yeah, I'll ride with that.
Yeah,
When
I
you
mean, we can just fire him off now.
Yeah,
'cause there's
that-
no stakes.
I'll just
anymore.
tell it's only until you guys want the next clue. I'll let you know
Yeah.
if you get him. Grant Hill is not it. That's an interesting guess, though. I cannot picture JaVale McGee running track, though. By the way, Grant. Just throwing that
No,
out
but
there.
I could picture him being 6'5" in 8th grade.
That's also fair. Good point.
Okay, so maybe we got to focus on the mom thing. So what's the reference to the mom? She was a basketball player.
Correct.
Cooper Flag.
No, that was a good guess, though.
Hmm.
I don't know if his mom's a basketball player, but
I think his whole family is. You don't get that. You don't get that.
I thought
way
that was the
without-
Knipples.
Well, that's also true.
Well, it's not him.
Yeah, that's also true.
Oh yeah.
Duh.
Could have been a good guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want another clue, or you want
I
to just
do,
throw a name
yeah.
out? Okay, yeah, let's get a clue.
Clue 4. You think I'm all about sports? I was a drummer growing up, and you can probably see some of that in my game.
Oh, God.
Derek Lively.
No.
Oh.
Is that because of the hair? Was that it?
I just had it's like the instrument thing. Somebody,
Yeah.
The drumming thing.
6'5" in 8th grade, so they're probably maybe not considerably taller now, but
Yeah, right. That's true. He could have he
probably a
could be
bit.
6'5" today, for all we know. The drumming. I feel it's right there. There's I can remember some pregame feature on the drumming thing.
I've got nothing on the drummer hit. I'm just
Yeah,
trying
that
to think of North Carolina or Duke players.
Yeah, that's tickling my brain a little bit.
Harrison Barnes doesn't give off drummer.
It is not Harrison Barnes.
No. Did you get what was so we went to followed in mom's footsteps and going to somewhere in North Carolina, or followed in what's that clue again? Sorry.
I ended up following in my mom's footsteps and chose basketball over track and football.
And what was the Carolina thing? Did it give a clue as to this person was not from North Carolina?
It says that they were targeted by their hometown university, but ended up playing at a college in North Carolina.
Harrison Barnes was a good guess.
I wish I knew the hometown university, but
Yeah.
I don't even know that would help. I think it would, but
Yeah. Oh man, I think we need a clue.
Clue number 5, second to last one. I was drafted with a high pick on a wild draft night and have had success early on, averaging nearly 5 assists per game over my career.
So
So the fundamentals that we know is that it's a big guy who's averaging around 5 assists per game for his career and went to a North Carolina university. And whose mom is a hooper.
We gotta get this.
I think you might get it on the final clue because Nicolche was very kind with the way he closed the final.
I respect a giveaway final clue. It's always helpful. So it's I thank you for giving us the big guy information. I was not 100% sure on
well,
that.
he's 6'5" in the 8th grade. He's not tiny.
yeah.
No, yeah. So a big guy is averaging 5 assists, it's a couple different people, right? And although I'm fixated on Duke and Carolina, there's a million colleges in North Carolina. I think we're missing an obvious one.
Paolo went to Duke. I don't know that 5 assists that's too high.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I like that guess. I think we'd like to guess Paolo.
That is correct.
Okay.
Paolo Banchero. Final clue was I am a dual citizen and I was eligible to play for both U.S. and Italy, but ended up playing for the USA national team. I also may be Grant's least favorite player. Now,
this has gone too far. This has gone the Paolo thing.
Grant might have guessed Domantas Sabonis at that point.
Yeah, that's man.
We know it's not his least favorite player. We know who that is.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, that wouldn't have thrown us off at all. Okay, that was you again, Andrew. Paolo was the drumming thing led me
I didn't
down
know he
a
was a
path.
drummer. Yeah,
I didn't
had no
either.
idea.
I was like, oh, I can think of some. That wasn't him. The like hometown team, because like I know UW really wanted him, and it was a whole deal that he left Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna go look that up just now.
Yeah. Whew. All right, Dan. Is it
Quickly,
my turn?
Can I ask a question though? What is, and I'm genuinely asking, what about Paolo's game screams I was a drummer in a band to you guys?
Yeah, I don't know. That feels like a shot at like pounding the dribble or something.
Yeah, oh,
which I-
man,
which
if
I-
that- I
which
didn't
I
catch that. I respect that if that's what it was. Well, I'll give you guys one more.
All right, I've got
Just
two.
We have a couple. I'm gonna do one more, and this one is okay. I like this one from Maddie L in Discord. Clue number one: my final season was with an Eastern Conference team. Good luck, guys.
As in their only time in the Eastern Conference was that 1
Yeah,
year? Or?
So I'm willing to. I feel like it's fair to say yes. They only played their final season in the NBA was with an Eastern Conference team, and that was the only season they spent in the Eastern Conference.
I do have a guess.
I do too. What do you think?
You two should run it by each other. Let's not.
Well, I think we should both get a one-shot kill opportunity. So my guess won't cancel out Andrew's.
All right, go ahead.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
That is correct. Wow, that was one shot kill there.
What
was that yours, A-Dubs?
I don't want to say mine again. Mine was Tyreek Evans.
What was his Eastern Conference team?
The Pacers.
You were with the Pacers.
Oh, I wiped from memory. I only think of him as a Pelican and a King, I think. Pelicans, maybe?
Clue 2 was I was traded from the team that drafted me for refusing to sign a $13 million deal. Clue 3, in my last season with this team, I made my 12th All-Star team. At the peak of my career, I won MVP, Finals MVP, NBA Championship, and Defensive Player of the Year all in the same season. I think you guys would have gotten it there.
Yeah, we'd had a lot of guesses for that one.
Clue 5, I went to 3 NBA Finals, winning 2. Clue 6, I was runner-up in Rookie of the Year in 1985 to a player who played for the same team that Patrick Williams currently plays for now, tries to play for now.
Gotta focus on the important players here.
Clue 7, I played at the 1996 Olympics for a team that wasn't my birth country. Clue 8, my college team nickname was Phi Slamma Jamma. Phi Slamma Jamma. Okay. Those were excellent clues, Matty L. I fear that I may have ruined it by giving the extra little nudge on the first one.
A little bit. Oh, you did the mic again, Dan.
Whoops. This is stat padding. I'm trying to inflate your numbers. You're welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Shall I give you guys one?
Yeah, I'm ready. Maybe.
Okay.
Possibly.
This is from KHS. Clue number 1. I come from Texas. Not I went to college in Texas. I was born there. This player comes from Texas. Could mean
Dorian Finney-Smith is from Texas. This is what the super block came out. Name.
I don't know.
I like the guess. I don't know anyone else from.
Why was he the DeAndre Jordan's from Texas? Who else is from Texas? Isn't
big state? There's probably a lot of people from Texas. I'd venture to guess.
Wait, so they're from Texas. They didn't go to Texas.
I come from Texas. I can't interpret the clue anymore.
I should name 5 or 6 NBA players that went to the University of Texas or Texas University. I don't know what it is, but I don't know anyone from Texas.
I'm going to say, so if you don't have anyone, a DFS, I'm just going to lock it in, is from Texas.
Okay. It is not Dorian Finney-Smith.
That's really unfortunate.
All right. Clue number 2. Selected in the lottery, I played for my first team for a long stretch of time.
From Texas, on a lottery team. Andrew, DeAndre Jordan wasn't drafted in the lottery, right? Didn't he go like super late?
I feel like he was a late first.
Yeah, or not at all. Okay. From Texas, lottery pick.
Miles Turner.
Bang.
Ooh. Oh, man,
that's a great pull.
Game. That was.
I thought when you said I could name a few players from the University of Texas, you're gonna drop him in there.
Where did he? Because I'm so bad at where players go to school. Where did he go to school?
Texas. Yeah. But I couldn't give you that. Like, the clue doesn't say I went to Texas. It's I come from Texas. So I didn't want to give that away too badly. Clue 3 was I was the league leader in blocks more than once, but I never had an all defensive selection. It's pretty good. That's a good stat. I don't know if I would remember that. Number 4, I made my first conference finals in my 9th year and my first finals the next year. Clue 5, I'm known for rim protection and stretching the floor. You're probably getting it here. But the nickname Unicorn belongs to someone else in my draft class. And then clue 6, if you didn't have it, you weren't getting it. I don't think the grass is always greener wherever I go. Is that like something he said, or is that just a reference to Milwaukee?
So many quotes.
It must have been. I thought there was going to be something at the end, stabbed in the back by my front office or something, like trying to trade me
way more
times.
than $22 million a year or something.
Yeah.
All right, let me see here. I have only one other one. This is from Matty L.
Oh no.
Clue number 1.
Patrick Williams. No, just
really good guess. I'm surprised. Have we done Patrick Williams? I don't think we have. So it's still out there.
Remember. Yeah,
it's not Patrick Williams. I won't count that as your one-shot kill attempt because you haven't heard the clue yet. I am currently on a Western Conference team.
Name a Western Conference player, Andrew. I'll let you take it. Whoever you say.
You don't want to pick a team, and
all right, I'll give you the team. Western Conference team, Vancouver Grizzlies. Seattle Sonic. Let's say Matty L. Who's a Bulls fan, I believe, which I feel like is Sacramento Kings of the East. So pick a player from the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, okay, that's how you're getting there. I get it.
All right, former Bull, DeMar. We'll take DeMar DeRozan.
Great guess, not DeMar DeRozan.
That'd be
although
amazing.
This would still line up though. Clue number 2. My last team was in the Eastern Conference, so this still could have been DeMar DeRozan, but it's not.
Because Andrew doesn't have the backstory of Matty L, I feel like there's got to be some like Kings Bulls connection here.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
There are more Kings Bulls players we can name.
There's Levine,
right now.
Zach Levine.
It is not Zach Levine. Yeah, let him fly. You're past one-shot kill territory.
What was this clue exactly?
So clue 1 is I'm currently on a Western Conference team. Clue 2 is my last team was in the Eastern Conference.
It could also be Domantas Sabonis. Former Bull or
Kings players. Future Bull.
Not Sabonis.
Let's go down the Kings roster, who was just in the Eastern Conference. Western Conference. I don't know how recently.
We feel good about it being Sacramento, right?
Not necessarily at this point, because who else on the roster was just in the Eastern Conference? Monk has Malik Monk did play for Charlotte.
It's not Malik Monk.
Lakers before that, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the clue was his last team was in the East.
On a Western team now, last team was in the East.
Isaiah Hartenstein?
Nope.
Alex Caruso, former Bull.
It's not Rui. What was yours, Dan?
Alex Caruso?
Nope.
Damn. I might be harping too much on the Bulls connection.
You might be.
Oh man, this is just. We might just need another. There's so many players.
There's literally hundreds of players you could guess with the information.
Can you just sit here for 10 minutes while we go through the depth charts of every team?
I mean, you might get it. Eventually, you'll get it. We could speed it up with another. Although,
Kyrie Irving.
It is Kyrie Irving. It is Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
Why? Why did you guess that?
So alphabetically in my mind, the West starts with Dallas. So I started doing that whole thing.
Oh, making too many 30 sliders. You just know the alphabet.
Yo, for anyone who thinks that Grant and I can't do the alphabet, what's up?
I mean, that was just an out of left field. So clue 3 was going to be, in fact, I've only been on one Western Conference team. So we're like not narrowing the field at all. Really there. Because you don't know when this is. This could be anybody. Clue 4, I've been to 4 NBA finals, winning 1. That would have dialed it in, I think.
That or make America healthy again. I think we would have gotten one of those.
Yeah, not sure about the whole vaccine thing. Number 5, I'm a 9-time All-Star, but never made a first-team All-NBA. Did not know that.
Oh, wow.
6, I have played in 1 Olympics and 1 World Cup, but not for my country of birth. Right, because he played for Australia, right?
No, wasn't it because he was born out of the U.S., right?
Yeah, was it he was born in Australia and he played for the U.S.? Right, yeah, that's what it is. I had it backwards. 7, I've been teammates with James, Durant, Harden, Love, and Tatum. That probably would have got you there too.
Yeah, I think the finals one, I think we would have gotten it on.
I cannot believe you got to it in the 2. Just incredible.
I also had to double check where he was born, which you were right, Grant, but he's also cousins with Isaiah Briscoe, formerly of the Orlando Magic. I had no idea. Look at that. Shout out basketball
Isaiah Briscoe,
reference.
like Tony Roten, not a name that's in my brain at all. Recognize that's a person that exists. Would never guess Tony Briscoe. I think that's all I've got for you.
All right, we're up to Andrew now.
All right. Do you want my guess a player first, or do you want the 3 that were?
You should kick it off with the one you came up with.
Yeah, we'll take yours first.
Okay. Guess a player. This player specifically, you have 11 clues.
Oh, good.
If we don't get it, do you know how sad this is, Grant?
Real sad. The 11 clues means it's going to be hard.
This is a tough one. It really is. And Dan's going to love the first 4.
Yeah. Dan, you can just tune out while we talk about the NCAA.
Oh, no. Wait, who do I know went to college? Let me get a 0-shot kill. Michael Jordan.
It is not Michael Jordan.
It's unfortunate.
Clue number 1, and this actually gave me some pause earlier. Clue number 1, I am from Dallas, Texas, but played high school basketball in both Texas and Massachusetts.
Grant, I can name NBA players from Texas if you want again, Grant, but
played high school basketball in Dallas and Massachusetts. Man, I don't think, I'm trying to think of where Massachusetts just doesn't strike me as like a hotbed. It's like, where's like Montverde Academy and wherever. There's nothing in Massachusetts. It's like Oak Hill is in like Virginia or something. All of the high schools that they there's like 3 super programs that like every NBA player went to. Can't think of if there's a Massachusetts one.
Now, going to high school in Texas, Grant, do you think that it means the player is from Texas originally? And does that help us at all?
Andrew, can you read the clue again, please?
Yeah, and Dan, to confirm, I am from Dallas, Texas, but played high school basketball in both Texas and Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. I'm going to pretend like that it did something for me.
I mean, that could just go either way. As far as could have gone back home to finish high school, could have left Dallas. We got to take a shot
Dallas,
here.
so we know they're from Dallas.
Right. But could have. Yeah, I don't know. The high school
wasn't DeAndre Jordan's whole free agency thing like, I'm from Dallas, let me go home?
Sure. No, the Massachusetts thing is so. I don't know what to do with that.
I just remember Mark Cuban chasing him around, so I don't remember why.
He's in his car, literally trying to find him as we speak.
I don't know. You got to just take a shot at it. You have any one shots here, Dan?
My only one would be DJ, but I don't even know if he's from Dallas.
Lock it in.
Sure, lock it in.
DeAndre Jordan, not a one-shot kill.
I think he's Houston also. I think he's got the Houston Astros H tattooed somewhere.
Grant, where was this 12 seconds ago?
I don't have a better guess, so I'm in no position to. The Massachusetts of it, who I'm trying. I can't think of a single NBA player. I'm sure there's a billion with I associate Massachusetts with this person.
I gave you guys a tough one.
That's all right. We've attempted our one shot. I'll take the second clue.
Absolutely. Clue 2. I played 3 years of college basketball and hold the career steals, single game, single season, and career assist records at Missouri?
Michael Porter Jr. doesn't pass.
Nope. And he was not, I don't think he was there for 3 years. Although he
Good call.
Had the back surgery, so I think he had like an entire missed year. Missouri.
Grant, this might shock you. I have nothing.
It's not like a real, yeah, it doesn't leap out, like it's not a rich. So the only one of the I forget, I want to say like Kareem Rush, but he's like all the Rushes are from LA. I think he went to Missouri. That's man, Missouri, that's brutal. Do you think we have anyone in the audience that just loves Missouri basketball that's just screaming at us right
They're
now?
They're so mad right now.
You said he led. What did he lead in? Or set records for?
Yeah, holds records at Missouri in career steals, single game, single season, and career assists.
Okay, so it's a guard from Missouri.
I'm just trying to go through all my collegiate memories that I have in the back here.
Oh man, Missouri's tough. No one's coming to mind from there. Yeah, I don't know. I have nothing. I think I would ask for another clue.
We need another clue.
Clue 3. I was the 2012 SEC preseason player of the year and share the SEC record for single game assists with 19.
There's a preseason player of the year. How unserious is college basketball?
Wouldn't that be something if there's a preseason All NBA team where you're just on it?
What company sponsors that? I'd be embarrassed to have my brand associated with.
That is funny. I've never thought about it.
That's like that award is sponsored by Temu. That award has to be sponsored by those Temu products.
I mean, are we missing an opportunity to fixate on the Celtics, given Andrew's stated team preference and background that we're looking at right now?
Where's Larry Bird from?
It's not Missouri.
Okay.
Man.
Wait. Oh no, he's from that's Illinois, is not Missouri.
I'm so hung up on Missouri.
Who'd you say, Jeff?
Jason Tatum is from Illinois, though. Him and Bradley Beal. No, I got to Missouri.
He's from St. Louis,
which is Missouri. Okay, never mind. But that's not Dallas. Regardless,
he didn't go to Missouri, so that I'm pretty sure. And also, Jason Tatum was not in college for 3 years.
Oh man, I already forget some of the prior clues.
Yeah, that's hard.
Dallas, and then went to Texas and Massachusetts. 3-year college player, had all those records at Missouri. Preseason player of the year, which is a fucking award for some reason.
and has the SEC record. Single game assists with 19.
Oh, so he's a passer and gets a bunch of steals.
This is the last college clue, if that helps.
Let's hear the next clue then.
Did you guys even get a guess in there?
I can't think.
Did White Chocolate go to Jason Williams? Where's he from?
Well, he's from West Virginia and went somewhere and then Florida.
Why do you know this? First of all, I don't
know. Because of Randy Moss.
Right. Yeah. Well, I had Randy Moss on the brain. They played together in high school.
Clue 4?
Yeah,
yes, please.
And maybe 5 while we're at.
Maybe. Clue 4. I entered the NBA draft after my junior season, but ultimately went undrafted due to my small size and shooting concerns.
Maybe he would have went higher if he had won another preseason player of the year award, if he had a couple of those in the bank. Do you know this, Grant?
Is it Ish Smith?
It is not Ish Smith.
Yeah, he's not.
That would have been an awesome one.
Oh, man. Now this is... so obviously he made it, because he wouldn't be a guest player if he hadn't got to the NBA.
Maybe he's an overseas legend.
Don't give away the next clue.
He's on an N1 mixtape tour right now.
I'm trying to think of
undrafted guys who got a bunch.
Questions with a shot, you said?
Yes.
Where's Isaiah Whitehead from?
You got me.
Not him. All right. That's my contribution.
Oh man.
Ish Smith went to Wake Forest, by the way.
That's right. Similar colors. Got like the black and the gold.
Where'd Randy Foye go? Is it Randy Foye?
Isn't he UConn? Maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
yeah. I could have said the moon. They're like, yep, that's right. Checks out. One more.
Dan,
next clue, please.
Dan brought something up, so you're gonna get like a bonus clue here. This is clue 4.5.
Okay.
So high school basketball here. He had several YouTube videos for much taller players that became popular. There is a video out there of him dunking that has 900,000 views.
This is going to mean absolutely nothing to Grant.
Yeah, now we've entered my blind spot.
Views? What are
these views you speak of?
Like from Nielsen?
He dunked over Tony Mitchell, if that means anything.
Well, that changes. Now it's changed the type of player I'm thinking of pretty significantly. Couldn't shoot, super athletic, a ton of steals and assists at Missouri.
Undrafted too. All these players that are coming into my head are just some of them have been drafted in the lottery too, which is just bad. Most of them definitely didn't go to Missouri.
Time for clue 5.
Yeah,
we need it.
Clue 5. I am one of countless father-son duos to play in the NBA. My father was a first-round pick in the 1982 NBA draft.
This is great. We should these are good clues. This is a sufficiently obscure player.
I hate myself at the moment. I
hate myself because like, why don't we have this?
We had a lot of college clues, so I don't hate myself. You should be ashamed, Grant. I'm comfortable. One of the many father-son duos. Now I'm going to latch on to that.
So a little more on his father. First round pick in the 1982 NBA draft. Played for 3 teams across 11 seasons, including his final one for Grant's Golden State Warriors.
Oh,
Grant.
All right. Come on. Well, let's see. There's no.
So what does that put us? Late 80s if he was 3 teams, or was it how long was his career?
Drafted in 82. So yeah, in 11 years he's on like the 92 or 93 Warriors. I mean, it's not like Tim Hardaway Jr. did not go. He went to Michigan.
He was drafted too, right?
He was drafted. He was in the first round. Not dunking on people. Yeah, so probably not him. Man.
Tim Hardaway Jr., 24th overall pick in 2013.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The dad isn't the clue. Holy shit. I'm now trying to think of the dad, which I guess would get me there. But
well, yeah, the dad should get you this player who had so the dad and the son both had like real careers. The dunking thing is now I was so focused on Missouri, and now I'm trying to think of like who's the little guy that's famous for dunking on bigger players. And the Warriors thing. We should have this by now.
I think we need another clue.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know if you should. First 4 were all non-Dan, and then that was pretty obscure. He's a pretty obscure player, I'll tell you that.
Good.
All right. Clue 6. Despite going undrafted, I appeared in 75 games as a rookie, averaging 2.8 points per game and 15.1 minutes per game.
So they just didn't want to shoot.
Yeah.
Or couldn't. Fair enough.
Man, there's so many different like hang-ups.
Went undrafted due to my small size and shooting concerns.
But it's also like I'm trying to think of like small guys that dunked a lot. But it doesn't necessarily mean this guy was doing that in the NBA.
No, I mean 2 points per game as a rookie.
Yeah, and then Missouri, that is just killing me.
I'm getting hung up on the father-son duo because I feel like I should instantly know it.
Right. Yeah, it's not, I mean, there's a lot, but it's not, and there was a Warriors connection.
That may or may not come up later.
Okay. I think we better get another one.
We need clue 6, clue 7, whatever this is.
I want to give you a clue 6.5 here. After my debut against the Jazz, I said, quote, I wouldn't say I'm trying to prove people wrong. I'm trying to prove myself right because I know I can do almost anything.
Wow.
And now we can give you clue 7.
Yeah,
that was just a ballsy quote.
That one I don't have in my memory bank.
Clue 7. I only played 50 games my second year and 1 game for the Maine Red Claws. I played behind the likes of Rajon Rondo and Isaiah Thomas.
Oh God. You were right. The Celtics connection, Grant. You were there with that.
Yeah. Oh, why don't we have this yet? Who's like a Celtic?
There are people screaming right now.
Oh yeah.
There are people
like
screaming.
Undersized. I mean, like, it's not, it can't, like, Nate Robinson didn't go to Missouri.
No, he was drafted in the first round too, and he's from Seattle.
Right. And it's just like, it's not, I don't think his dad was in the NBA. He did play for the Celtics, so that's at least where we got one thing.
Who's on those teams?
Like, yeah, little guy, can't shoot, athletic.
I went back to the depths of my Celtics knowledge here.
I think we need another clue. Grant's gonna have to go before we even get this guess player.
Oh yeah, right. That's right. I got we got to get this in 10 minutes.
Clue 8. I played my last season in the NBA in 2015-16 for 2 teams, appearing in 14 games for the Philadelphia 76ers and 9 for the Phoenix Suns.
I don't know why I so many times just wanted to scream Elfrid Payton, and that just can't be. Like, that just can't be.
He was like a top 10 pick or something.
I apologize to Elfrid Payton. Honestly.
Yeah. That doesn't help me. I don't think. I don't. Yes, please.
I bounced around the G League at the end of my NBA career with stops in Maine, the Idaho Stampede, and the Santa Cruz Warriors.
I mean, who's that guy?
How long has Mac McClung been around? How old is he? Who's that guy? That's literally the entire exercise.
Just into my brain flashed like, oh, that little guy from the Santa Cruz Warriors. But we're talking 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think we need another clue.
Yeah, we need clue 10.
I went overseas in 2017 and played for 5 years before returning as an assistant coach in 2022, winning the NBA championship in 2024.
So he's on the Celtics bench. Boy, oh boy.
That's Missoula. Well, Missoula didn't have his own. Yeah, he had his own staff at this point, didn't he? Did he replace anybody after he replaced Udoka?
I don't know. I'm trying to picture the bench now. Like, who's, how you watch enough games, you like recognize like staff and assistants and stuff after a while. But then he wouldn't look, I'm thinking of a small guy. He's not going to look small on a bench necessarily because, like, oh boy.
His dad was in the NBA too. Oh my God. We might need clue 11.
I think we got to just go to the next clue.
All right. So I hope this gives a little bit away, but not too much. Clue 11. The start. I am now the head coach of the Maine Celtics. Brad Stevens said about me, I've thought Phil was ready for this from the first time I coached him.
We get the name and I don't think I know it. Oh.
Oh man,
You have it?
I mean,
Come on.
I'm not gonna pretend like we should have gotten it by now. Oh man, but he's gonna say the name. I'm gonna get mad.
Phil.
Is this Phil Pressey?
Oh, look at you. I would never in a million years. Never. Wouldn't have got it.
Oh man,
Where did that come from? Why did you know that?
Me?
Yeah.
I just was trying to think of players that played. Phil, and he mentioned the first name, so I knew that Phil. I was like, Phil. I was trying to think of Pressey was the name.
So Paul Pressey is the dad.
Yep.
Which I could not have told you he played for the Warriors. So oh man, great.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want to hate yourself through the whole process and then go,
I sufficiently feel bad about myself.
Yep. Successful guess a player.
Grant, can we try and have Andrew one through one of the submissions really quick to try and squeeze in one more?
Yeah.
Okay. Submissions, or I do have that trivia as well.
Yeah, either your pick.
Okay. We'll try a submission first.
Okay.
We'll see how we do. Let's one shot kill this. This is from Britch ATX.
Oh, this is
this is gonna
be
be
rich.
bad.
This is the mind of the psychopath.
Be Rich ATX. Okay. First clue. I was drafted outside the lottery in 2015 after spending 2 years in the SEC.
We're gonna do this again. Phil Pressey.
2015 outside the lottery, SEC.
For how many years? 2?
We gotta try. So so one thing I don't know is who's in what conference anymore.
Yeah.
That's become very difficult. 2015 outside the lottery. I don't know. Who's someone from like Alabama
class.
or who's in the 2015 class? Like what year? What
is that the KP one? Didn't we just already, or is that not 2015?
I'm so bad at if you give me like 3 players, I could name everybody, but if you just give me the year, I can't remember who's in what draft class.
2015, because 2014 was Wiggins. No, 2013 was 2014 was Wiggins.
I think he's around there.
Grant, 2015's number 1 overall pick is near and dear to your heart. So
now I don't know if I hate this player or like him.
Excuse me. I said Grant Dan. Near and dear to your heart.
Oh no!
Oh, is Cat the number 1 in 2015?
Drafted outside the lottery in that draft
from an SEC school, so we could be in Kentucky territory. I don't know.
What was the clue again?
Drafted
outside the lottery, just in that draft. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Oh, but he was in school for 2 years though.
Oh,
yep.
I'm never in the SEC. Is Kentucky in the SEC?
I think so.
All right.
Boy, look at the two of us.
Tyler Ulis.
Yeah, they were.
Tyler Ulis. Tyler Ulis.
I love the guess. Not
That's
Tyler
a fun
Ulis.
guess. Yeah, we got to get another clue. I have nothing.
Clue 2. I averaged 7 points and 5 rebounds my rookie year, sharing the floor with Bulls legend Kirk Heinrich in the final year of his career.
Well, so where is Kirk Heinrich in this one though?
Oh, didn't they just say he was on the Bulls?
Well, he said Bulls legend, but like, he wasn't there his whole career? I don't think, was he? Wasn't Heinrich somewhere else at the end? Also, 2015 was Kirk Heinrich's last year. How old are we?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Aaron Brooks, did he go to an SEC school?
I don't know.
It's not Aaron Brooks.
That's a good guess. I think my brain stopped working. I think I've had too many guess-a-players.
Try to remember who gave the clues, though, Grant.
Yeah, I know. That leads me astray as often as not, though.
What's the Warriors connection here?
Yeah, right. I just can't remember where Kirk Heinrich was. It could have been the Bulls. He maybe did a farewell tour. I don't know. You want another clue?
Yeah.
All right. Clue number 3. The third most similar player to me through 10 years is one of Grant's favorite players, a man Grant's fashioned his facial hair on since college, Rich Fox.
I was like, Lionel Messi didn't play basketball.
Yeah. So wait, this again, just what a red herring. The whole like most similar to, those are always like it's the three most different players you could possibly imagine.
So does that make him a wing?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
This player is most similar to Rick Fox for whatever that's worth. SEC school, outside the lottery, 2015.
Was on Kirk Heinrich's team as a rookie.
Kirk Heinrich is roughly in his early 30s now, if he's still in the league, I guess, right? Based on
he's still in the league. I didn't know that.
I don't know if he is. We don't know a team unless it's the Bulls.
Third most similar player to me.
Oh, third. That's not even the most similar player. This is like even more of a
10 years.
I don't have it. I have no idea.
Yeah, we need another clue.
Clue 4. I've averaged 12 and 7 so far in my career on efficient shooting. My career high in regular season starts is 55.
So not necessarily a starter.
2015 is too far back for Najee Marshall, right?
I think so, yeah.
So.
Yeah, 12 and 7. That's an interesting player. Like, what is that? I guess if Rick Fox means anything, it's not a center. So it's a forward.
Yeah.
That's in his early-ish 30s. And from an SEC school.
We just go through the memory bank of Kirk Heinrich's former teammates.
I know, right?
Just see if we can turn it up. The 2015 is throwing me off. I feel like we should know it. When were the?
No,
Oh no, because Kirk Heinrich wasn't on that. I was gonna say, when were the Morris twins drafted? It could be one of them.
I think they're further back than that.
Okay,
because they're both like mid to late 30s now.
They were on the Suns as rookies too, and Heinrich was never on the Suns, right?
I think that's right. Now, though, I can convince my brain that I can see Kirk Heinrich in like 10 different jerseys. Like, I'm sure he was on the Bucks. I have no idea if he was on the Bucks.
I think we need another clue.
Yeah.
All right. This is clue number 5. After a 1-year stop with the Wizards, shot 40% from 3, averaged 14.1 points and 8.6 rebounds. I signed a 1-year deal and came off the bench for David Fizdale in an uninspiring Knicks team.
Oh, no. Boy, this is not good. Take that for data.
Pretty good year for the Wizards. Ends up on the Knicks. What were the Wizards stats, Andrew? 14 and what? 40% from 3?
8.5. 8.5 boards. 40% from 3.
40% from 3. SEC school, 2015.
The heck
ends up on the Knicks.
I feel like Grant should be able to follow this with those two teams.
Me? The Wizard? So
no,
Wizards?
Dan. I'm
counting on Dan to pull this one out.
The Wizards to the Knicks is tripping me out because 2015. And so if he was drafted outside the lottery and he was with the Knicks by year 3, that's what this puts him out. So he didn't sign. He must have been drafted outside of the first round then.
Not necessarily with the Knicks in year 3. Just a 1-year stop with the Wizards before going to the Knicks.
Oh, okay. So who was on the Wizards and tricked the Knicks into thinking they were good?
Well, 14 and 8 and 40% from 3 is like a very specific, like he's a forward or a wing of like a big wing that could shoot it, but like 8 rebounds is a ton of rebounds. So you got to think forwards, I think.
I keep thinking about Al Harrington, who was drafted in the 90s. This is just not working out.
Yeah, not in the class of 20. Al Harrington might have been retired by 2015.
They were on Kirk Heinrich's team, then were with the Wizards, and then went to the Knicks.
Under David Fizdale.
David Fizdale. I've blacked out that entire era.
Yeah, when was that? Is that post-COVID, for example? It must be.
No, that's pre-COVID.
No?
Fizdale's pre-COVID.
So these Wizards teams would have been some pretty good, like John Wall Wizards teams, I think. Like if that helps, that good Wizards here, maybe it could be leading us the wrong way.
Who had a good Who was good on the bench for the Wizards during that?
Like it's not Otto Porter because he was like the 3rd pick or something. And I don't know the year's not quite right. I don't think.
Could they be a big man? And I don't know if that's really going to help because
it
I don't
could
have any
be, right? Yeah, that maybe we don't know the volume on that 40%, but you feel like you would know it though, the 40% just in general.
Yeah, I think we might need another clue. Holy shit!
Yeah, I think so.
I'm loving this. At my most recent stop, I've finished top 10 and 6th man of the year voting 3 times and have continued to shoot the hell out of the ball.
Well, now this is getting bad.
Yeah. Top 10 and 6 man 3 times. And it's not Rui. No, he's never been a Nick. What am I doing? That's how on tilt I am.
Next clue.
We will get it on the next clue.
The last clue is
who's been a 6th man of the year staple that can really shoot it? That we should just that would fit this timeline.
That's been like gone Wizards, Knicks. The Kirk Heinrich connection is not helping me at all anymore.
No, it's not.
It's out of my mind. Wizards, Knicks, ton of 6-man consideration. Good shooter, we think.
We watch it be like that's not what it is at all.
He's 4 for 10 for his career or something. That's why they were all that year.
Be like the past decade. Who's just been a 6th man of the year staple? It should be that easy.
Yeah.
Because it's now my dog is pissed. He's even
everybody's upset. Another perfect guess a player where everyone's angry at themselves in the world. I was just gonna ask for the next clue because I gotta leave.
It is the last clue.
Okay.
I feel like I should make you throw out some names and I'll lay out some things here. 40% from 3, 14 points, 8.5 boards. You know that's a bid. Top 10 and 6th man of the year voting. Nothing.
Graham, what is the matter with us?
I don't know.
This is so bad. They shouldn't have played with. Wait, no. He was never. I was
and there's a Knicks connection. What's happening?
I was about to say Jan Mahimi, who doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
0. He played for the Wizards, so that helps.
Did he play with Kirk Heinrich at least? I don't think so.
Final clue?
Yeah, please.
One of my nicknames is the Mayor of Milwaukee. Another is Crazy Eyes.
This isn't helping me at all. Is it helping you, Grant?
The teams are messing me up. Like Bobby Portis comes to mind, but it's like that's not. The teams are all wrong.
Is that the guess?
Sure.
You got it.
Wait, Bobby Portis played for the Wizards and the Knicks? Dan, turn your mic on so I can hear you're upset.
Wait, he played for the Wizards? When? This happened? I don't believe it. I'm double
right before the Knicks.
Right now.
I have zero memory of Bobby Portis on the Wizards.
Yeah. Wow. He was there for 28 games. He spent a half season there. Yep. My God.
So it was the Bulls. It was the Bulls because of the Heinrich of it. I still don't know what college he went to in the SEC.
But Bobby Portis went to Arkansas. Oh no, he went to Arkansas. I didn't even know that was in the SEC. Look at that.
He's from Arkansas. Wow.
Unbelievable.
I'm really upset right now. This has just ruined my entire
teams
weekend.
that I can't see him in a Wizards or Knicks jersey.
Those were 2 really good guess-up players to close out on. Moral of the story, everyone go follow Andrew. Thank him for all the work that he's doing. Yep. He's helped us out a ton. This was great. We'll have to do this again because it was interesting working through guess-up players with multiple people. That was fun.
Yeah.
Grant, are you listening to you too? So
just struggle. just to watch the pained expressions. That's what this is all about, though. You can't one-shot kill them all. We can't be Tony Roten every time.
Incredible debut.
Yeah, that's going in the
incredible
books for sure.
That was amazing.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everyone, for listening, for watching. Do all the things: rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies. Join our Discord where you can get the sheets to submit guess of players if you would like to make us suffer in the future, or you would like us to embarrass you, as the case may be, because sometimes we do it. That's gonna do it. Thanks, guys. Shouts: Frank Ntilikina. Apologies: Jared Allen.